Hello and welcome to Read and React, hosted by Fable Table. I, as ever, am your host, Nik Bowen, and joining me is the lovely Shannon.
Hello.
I just mimed you saying hello with my face. We are continuing our read of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Dinniman and the audiobooks by Jeff Hayes, although I did promise I would get the audiobook for this book, and I still haven't, which is unfortunate. It really is, because I know that there are some guest voice actors in this book in particular that
That are
we
just
have
freaking
not covered.
fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what? Send me your email address. I am gonna buy you the audiobooks. Dude,
It's fine.
they're not terribly expensive. Please allow me to do this gift for you because
Yeah.
I
Well,
would love to.
the thing is that because like our episodes, like 3 of our episodes of book 1 got taken down because I probably used a few too many clips and they didn't care to read my response to their takedown of my video. I'm just very wary of doing any clips anymore. So
And that's okay. It will be just for your personal enjoyment.
that's fair.
Because, sometimes the way we read things in our heads
Yeah,
is very different to the way that they are
that's true.
delivered.
That's true.
And can change the meaning of certain passages, which is
Yeah,
probably why you and I differ at times on you're like, I think it meant this because you're reading it in a different tone than I'm hearing it when I listen to the
right.
audiobook. So
Yeah, that is interesting. Um, yes, I've enjoyed those moments where we've talked about how Jeff Hayes' like interpretation of the character and his delivery in the audio medium has been different from my mental voice hearing Carl's. Although since hearing the audiobooks, which I did very early on, my when I read Carl talking, I do hear Jeff's like kind of gruff voice because I now have a frame of reference for it. But when I'm not hearing him read it, sometimes I might interpret his Carl's tone differently.
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's also worth noting that over the course of the last few books, like books 1, 2, and maybe even 3, like there was definitely remember how I said it was like a Patrick Warburton light? I always reference that because that was definitely like the impersonation or the inspiration behind Carl's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it has shifted and changed over the course of the last, I'm going to say from books 4 and
Yeah.
up. It's different now. Like tonally, it's different. It's not so Patrick Warburton heavy. However, there's still some of that in there, but it does sound very different from the first book.
Yes. Yeah.
Which,
It
but bringing Patrick
evolved.
Warburton in, if he had done like a Patrick Warburton to Patrick Warburton, that would have been hilarious. But yeah, it has evolved past that point. So it's worth listening to all of them. But I do think that the voice of the AI specifically, that is important to listen to in the audiobooks because while you can read these changes, certainly it becomes really apparent when you hear how Jeff Hayes is reading the AI because it it too is evolving. It is also
Mm,
changing and getting more unhinged. And the way that he'll read certain things and the excitement that the AI is putting behind it, it's you can tell oh, he's gonna get fucked up. It's really interesting. So I don't know. I think
yeah.
this is one of this. I think the
This
AI is,
this section in particular probably would have been just really
yeah.
good. I really should have done it. I've just been
If
really
you
busy.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. But if you get to a point where you decide you want to reread the books at any point or listen to them on a road trip or whatever, I really want to
yeah.
give you these books so you can listen to them because it is reading them and listening to them are different experiences. You're still getting to the same endpoint, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of inflection and
Yeah.
tone that is implied. And it elevates the experience to me. When you hear the emotion in their voices, as when I say there, I mean Jeff Hayes, but like I
Hmm.
forget that he's just like one man doing 8,000 voices because he's so fucking talented. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. Well, speaking of, we have some big news to cover on the show because
mm,
we haven't talked about this since. I think very shortly after our last recording, because I think our last episode we recorded on a Tuesday, like 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
Like I think like the next day or the day after that at San Diego Comic-Con, it was announced that for the television show, Jeff Hayes will be playing Donut
thank
for
fuck.
the Peacock TV
Hell yeah.
series, which is awesome. I remember, and maybe this was in a pre-show or maybe it was during like the actual discussion, but I believe at one point I said I didn't think that they would do Jeff Hayes because they should like let someone else interpret the character of Donut. But
There can be no other voice actor for Donut except for Jeff Hayes. It's
I
like
was wrong.
she's
Yeah.
just you know. I mean, and I've seen a lot of like fan casting stuff like pop up about
Hmm.
who they want for Ellie and like some really good choices. And even like who's the guy who plays Reacher? That real like
Oh,
that stud muffin. What is his name? Like
uh,
Richardson, Alan Richardson, or is that
yeah,
his
Alan Richson.
Richson? Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's like, oh, he should be Carl, but yeah, I think he's
He,
unfortunately a
he's a
little too
bit
old to play. He's
old.
43. Yeah,
Yeah. And
but
Carl's
like
like 25,
7, something like
27.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So someone like him would be terrific, like just a big dude, you know,
Yeah.
to play. But like like a big dude who loves his cat. Oh my God, just I'm flinging my metaphorical panties at him right now.
Oh my
So
God.
like, yeah, whoever they choose, I'm excited to see whoever it's going to be. Like, I do think that Jeff Hayes is absolutely the only choice for Donut, though. Like, I would have been pissed. So
Yeah.
it was amazing.
I,
Great
I I
choice.
I think, and obviously actors can add and drop weight very quickly with the help of like nutritionists and everything.
Yeah,
But I feel like Alan Richson is already too jacked for the starting place of Carl because Carl is
maybe a
like
little
is
bit.
fit and strong. He works on boats. He's gone through training. He's a guy that takes his physical prowess seriously. But if we look at like say the front cover of the first book, I think I still have it here. Um do I still have it here? Uh no, I did not. Oh wait,
It's
maybe I do.
okay.
Anyway, but like he's big, but he's not like, enhanced by the strength enhancement zone
Right.
where
And the
he's
strength ring, like where when he put it
yeah,
on, he got like super swole.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, no, but like, but someone
So,
who has strong features, like a strong jaw, strong chin, like someone who has, like, I would say, uh, not stereotypical, but classically masculine features.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the dude. But I'm excited to see
Yeah.
whoever they choose. And of course, if they decide to cast Jason Momoa as Carl, I will. It might not be the it might not be the right choice, but I will still
I
absolutely support that decision because Jason Momoa belongs in
Isn't he
everything.
also in his 40s? He's 47, so he's even older than Alan Richson.
And that is perfectly fine because Momo is baby and he can do no wrong. I want him in every movie. He belongs in all the movies.
I just assumed that they would get Andy Serkis to play Donut and he'd crawl around on the stage and
That would have been I feel like could have gone in a much darker. Anytime they get Andy Circus involved, like it would be
it's
even
really
darker
good
than
but
it was
really
intended to
creepy.
be. Really
Yeah,
creepy.
yeah. He's
He's
too
fucking
good.
amazing. He's too
Yeah.
good.
Okay. So we are on part 2 of The Eye of the Bedlam Bride here, The Father. There are 3 parts to this book. The first one, which we covered over the last 2 episodes, is like the whole first half. So then part 2 and part 3 are the second half. So as just a quick recap, we are on the 8th floor after having a Prepotente just smash the 7th floor within minutes of arriving. They immediately proceeded. Cascadia, who we met, is losing her goddamn mind and is becoming quite unhinged. They are dealing with card battles, as we can see on the cover. Carl and Donut came across like the Chowder Wars and met Sister Ines and two other prison guards who have died. Carl and Donut learned that Katya had the crown placed on her, and that there's this sponsored god that put them on a quest to get a flower that will help Katya get out of the situation with the crown and the blood
throws
sultanate.
her into the ascendancy on the 12th floor, so she's safe for now.
Yeah,
quote unquote.
They had to assassinate Astrid, and in doing so, destroyed the Desperado Club by Samantha releasing a demon. I think that one was
from the nothing. Her name was Slit, I think.
Slit, yes.
Or was it like,
Gash.
I want to say like Slit or Gash?
Yeah, it's one of those two. The AI is growing more and more and more unhinged, and this floor in particular is having a ton of glitches and problems. The OIPN, the Open Intellect Pacifist Network, one of Carl's sponsors, they brought him on to an interview with a former cookbook author, Rosetta, and they gave him some messaging about Florida, as well as the potato, the yam ingredient that they have from a previous sponsorship box. And Odette, instead of becoming their adjutant for Faction Wars, is sponsoring a god, and revealed that she is completely motivated to help Mordecai, and wants to end the crawl humanely. Which I think you and I disagreed on whether or not we believed her.
Yeah, you believe that she is sincere, and I don't know. I guess because I keep thinking about, like, yes, she got B out of the crawl, but she also threw Ferdinand into the crawl with Donut.
Yeah.
Like, so like, there are just things that she's done that are shady.
Yeah.
She threw her support behind Hecla.
Yeah,
with the Crab Ranch, she did, like, so, like, sometimes her motivations aren't clear. So, like, even though she's telling this story, I'm like, okay, so she's saying this to Carl's face, but her actions behind his back was just maybe a different motivation. So, like,
to me, if Mordecai is like, what if Hey Mitch in this setting, Odette is what if Hey Mitch never became a drunk and instead got like hyper focused and used the system to fight the system, but very slowly and quietly.
That feels pretty accurate. Yeah.
So
yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
So we dive in with chapter 38. We just have left the Odette conversation. Donut, while Carl and Odette were talking, like, proceeded to choose their phase 2 location, and using the messaging that they got, she chose Florida and fought a deck master, like, as part of like a onboarding fight. So Carl joins Donut in Florida. Huanshin Jinx, who is sponsoring the goddess that is helping Katya, reaches out and is like, hey, I did tell you that Odette needed to be your adjutant, but I didn't anticipate this, and this was outside of your control. So I know you're freaking out, that I will fuck you over, but I'm not going to. I will honor my agreement to help Katya, despite Odette not becoming your adjutant, where I can get my revenge on her. And so it's effectively, she cuts Carl loose. And like, his quest that he received from her gets completed. The like killing spiders that was just allowing her to stay in touch with Carl, gets ended. So big few, because we were getting really worried about what she could do to them. And, she's still a threat, but at least it's less direct now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And then Emberus, Carl's actual like god that he is worshiping, reaches out and wants Carl to torture a priestess of Nekabit, who is the goddess that Odette is now sponsoring, because Emberus now thinks that Nekabit has something to do with his son Gaerun's death and murder within the
Oh my
fiction of the
God.
dungeon. So this is immediately pitting Carl against Audette in the distant future. Yeah. So Donut basically tells Carl a bunch of stuff that he didn't hear in an announcement, which is like, we need to find and kill 9 deck holders, and then we'll get tokens that will allow us to fight the final boss for a stairwell key, so that we can leave the floor. They chose Florida. Their key, however, is in Iowa.
So
this is another
Donut's
error.
freaking out.
Yeah.
Donut is freaking out.
Donut is freaking out. Carl reaches out to like Zev to be like, what the fuck? And the dungeon is like, please wait. And then it just drags a chunk of Iowa to Florida, and just drops it like near them, which is insane to think about. And it doesn't like line it up like, you know, flush on sea level where they are, and with the Florida's, you know, elevation, it's like a huge cliff.
It's a landmass.
Yeah, it's a landmass, and it's too high. So it's basically like a mountain that they need to scale, except it's like a whole cliff face. Carl goes, with my knowledge of geology, this is really bad. That land is unstable and it will erode into the ocean. This is putting, you know, a nice tight clock on us for the second floor, which they do have like, I think, weeks to complete, or like a week or something like that.
A week, like 5 days, I think, or something, or 6 days. Yeah.
But for these two, the clock is tighter because they could lose access to the key and the boss if it gets, you know, eroded into the ocean. This is happening all over the floor. There's all kinds of glitches happening, and they do seem to be, it's not said directly, but due to the fact that Borant has no idea what's going on or why, it seems to be coming from the AI, or some other interference, but that seems unlikely. There are many crawlers getting a single choice of location. So others are supposed to be getting 3, we learned from Zev, but basically
some
everyone
didn't get any.
Yeah, some didn't get any
choice.
But for the most part, it seems like crawlers are being forced to visit locations that have some sort of significant meaning to them, i.e. their loved ones. We've been waiting on this, you know, it started to happen last book with Imogen and Ferdinand, but it seems like it's starting to happen more and more and more. Carl does not understand the connection of them with Florida or with Iowa, so it's a big mystery. Given the title of this section, The Father, I think we can at least put one of those on something.
Right. Since Carl didn't have, like, his mother's dead, he didn't have any aunts or uncles or grandparents or whatever. That leaves B's family.
Yeah.
And maybe his dad.
Which are in Spokane, not Iowa.
Right, exactly.
He's Eastern Washington. So yeah, nice start to this section of the book. Just nice setup and confusion and complication. Chapter 39, Carl and Donut start fighting deck holders like they are Pokemon trainers or gym leaders. However, their tactics are so aggressive that they don't even need to use their deck until like the 6th deck holder. It's basically just Carl and Mongo rushing the deck users and killing them, or Donut firing missiles. Oh no, she can't cast spells as the deck holder. So
you can cast spells if you cast them before you engage in combat.
Yeah.
With your deck.
Yeah, I think their tactic for the most part is Carl using explosives to blow them up as soon as they like activate. And it's I think in this chapter or the next one that we learned that there's kind of like the deck holders are frozen and protected until your deck holder, like the crawler deck holder, approaches them. And then if there's any like nonsense, like trying to like be right there when the deck holder activates or snipe them from afar the moment they activate, the system will interfere and try and make it a little more fair for the NPC monster deck holder, but they're mostly still able to just blow them up with, you know, dynamite and stuff. So to Donut's dismay, this tactic destroys many of the deck holders' hats.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do end up fighting like this mariner, like ye old timey, like mariner bodysuit guy that summons all these like standing swordfish people. And Carl almost gets stabbed by one. And after the fact, they realize that Carl, like if the deck had had some time to build up, could have killed them quite easily. And that seems to be
super close.
Yeah, and that seems to be the theme with these decks is just like whoever gets going faster wins.
Yes.
And it can seem very lopsided. This is a really funny fight, though. There's some funny moments here, despite how like they almost die. We get introduced to a new character. It is they use a card to permanently combine Uzi Jesus and Asahano into a new totem, Lazarus a Bang Bang, who wields a bazooka with like random ammunition every time he is summoned. Lazarus competes with Shamaria for kills and has this amazing entrance. I'm going to just go ahead and read this because it's really funny.
Please. Yeah.
Sparkles rained from the wings of the cherubs as the totem rose from the ground, spinning and shrouded in smoke. The angel babies flew off, and a herd of digital street dogs burst away from the spinning figure, barking and running away in all directions as the music swelled. Only then did the smoke clear, revealing the figure. It was easily the craziest, most over-the-top reveal sequence of all of our cards. Donut loved it, despite the appearance of the street dogs. And then later, the hood fell back to reveal a boil-covered, dark-skinned man wearing a crown of thorns, but the thorns obscured his eyes like a blindfold. So it's like taking Jesus's crown of thorns and putting it over his eyes.
Yeah.
Kind of horrific. He stood to his full height, and I realized the decrepit old man persona had been an act. He was definitely older, but he was ripped. All arms heaved with power. Holy crap, I thought. That dude is intense. He pulled the bazooka to his shoulder. Welcome to your salvation, motherfuckers. The first time I read this, I wrote a note. Please cast via Mel Gibson or Ian McKellen. Which is weird though, because if he's dark skinned, that's not going to fit very easily. But I think, you know, Mel Gibson having already played Jesus in Passion of the Christ could be really fucking funny.
I mean, I was thinking like if it's a dark skinned man, it's Uzi Jesus and Asahano.
Yeah.
Then maybe like, oh gosh,
I can't.
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So well.
Yeah. He would be pretty
like,
good.
No Country for Old Men. He was like really creepy in that. He's a really good actor. So like
he is. He's got a great. He'd have a great voice for that character too.
Yes, and that's kind of who I'm like picturing in my head when I.
Yeah. With the combination of like Jesus, who obviously in this image is a white, you know, Anglicanized Jesus. You know, they might go for a more like Middle Eastern Jesus in the traditional, like accurate sense. But then there's also Asahano, who I think is either rooted in Spanish or Hispanic culture, or might be South Africa or African. I don't remember exactly. But...
I think it's Cuban. So
Cuban. Okay.
Because they could also do like Pedro Pascal, because honestly, there's no role that he can't play.
Right.
But I am picturing Javier Bardem like for this.
That is
Lazarus a Bang Bang. That's what I'm picturing.
That's really funny. Okay. All right. Moving on. So after collecting their 6th token, Carl's his patch, the Scavenger's Daughter patch, which as just a quick reminder, that patch I think is like a centipede crawling over a pile of bones.
Yes.
Which kind of invokes kind of Scolopendra notions.
Yes.
which is really weird because we don't know who the scavenger is. There's been several references to it and who their daughter is. But then I think Nekhabit, or no, someone, is it Nekhabit was referred to as the scavenger's mother?
Yes. Yeah. In terms, so Nekhabit was who
The like
was
a forgotten
worshipped
god.
prior
Yeah.
to Apido. Apido, it's kind of like
Yes.
it's it's like when one pantheon falls out of favor and a new pantheon rises, but takes on the face of like
Yes.
it's like what the Roman Empire did with like all of the pagan gods, and they just
Right.
slapped a different name on top of the old statues. That's basically like
Yeah.
Nekhabit and Apido, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yes, right. And we know this from Hekla, aka Katya's crossbow, the enchanted repeating crossbow of the scavenger mother of mothers. And then the description refers to Nekhabit.
yeah,
So if Nekhabit is the mother of mothers, that could, yeah. Anyway, I think we've talked about this, but
a little bit.
yeah,
But we get more
it's
into that
interesting.
like closer towards the end of the book. We learn a few more things about the gods, and then also definitely more in books in the next book, in book 7.
Yeah. So anyway, Carl's patch with the daughter's kiss ability that where he like consumes souls, and then like gets an attack that he has to release. That patch told him like he better not hold on to like the full charge or it will be like bad for him. And he notes here like as it gets close to getting full, he gets like an uneasy feeling. And it is nearly full at this point. He's getting that feeling, and he's starting to worry that he's going to need to save the ability for the final boss fight, meaning that he needs to be careful not to charge it up all the way until they get to that point, which is adding like this fun little extra dimension of complication to their fights and his participation in the next few ones. So it's some fun tension. But they kill these swordfish guys, and the mariner get their token and return to their safe room. The I like that they skip a lot of the fights and cut to this one where they do have a pretty successful and quick fight, but Donut realizes like upon looking at the cards that they had that we could take as rewards, I see what that deck was doing. If they had gotten one of these like buff that speeds up and makes the swordfishmen more accurate, they could have impaled you, Carl, and just killed you.
Yeah.
And she's like, she basically alludes to the fact that she's having like anxiety spirals or maybe even panic attacks about like losing Carl, and the fact that she's in charge having to make decisions and Carl's usually the one that's like much better at that. She does not like being in the deck holder position. She's like, I don't know what would happen if you died, and points out like you could have died in this last fight. And Carl's like, this is no different than the entire dungeon has been. And he kind of, I don't know if like tries to placate her is the right like word to or phrase to use there, but he like kind of like brushes this fear of hers aside. And then he realizes that this was a mistake because this does not help Donna or validate her feelings. And so he quickly, like we, remember back in book 2, how he was like super dismissive of Katya and telling her what to do. He has grown. Carl realizes his mistake. He grabs Donut's like candle from home and the photo of Bee and Brad and like sets them up as like these are her comfort items, and like takes her into his lap and is like, let's take a nap, like a good old fashioned nap. I love this. This is Carl making an active choice to use their precious time, especially given the fact that like their clock is even like less than any other crawlers because of the Ohio or Iowa situation. Yeah, the geography problem. And he's just like, you know what? I fucked up. I need to help support you. And he's like tending to her emotional needs. I love this.
Well, and also like just in addition to her having these anxiety spirals, she's goofing around on her social media board, and then that's never helpful ever. And it's just gonna, that's just gonna get worse. So yeah, and I love this moment between the two of them. He's taking a moment to be like, you know what? Let's just you and I be together in this moment right here and rest with each other.
Yeah.
And then, Mongo finds his way in. He's leaning back in, like, it's basically like an office chair. He's like leaning back in it, taking a nap like they used to in his old gaming setup. She's on his chest. Mongo comes in, throws himself down on his feet. You know what I mean? Like, just because he's too big to be a lap puppy now.
Yeah.
And like, as a family, they just snooze together and they hold each other, and it's so fucking sweet and it's beautiful, and they needed this. Donut definitely needed this. So yeah, this was
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
smart way for Carl to backtrack. They needed this closeness and to be like reminded of what they are to each other.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a moment here, like, so Donut falls asleep really quickly and Carl's like, I tried to sleep myself but I couldn't. Like, this is not Carl's coping strategy for himself to like,
Mhm.
his strategy is to bury his feelings, as we know. um and so he just kind of sits there alone with his thoughts, and his thoughts turn to the river, which was still there, period, always, period. And then he starts thinking about other people like Mordecai and Odette and their guilt and complications. He thinks of Frank. He thinks about the problem that they have with the pile of dirt they have to climb. And he's already like honed in on, like, I thought of the man I knew I'd find up there. He's like, I know who they're going to use against me here.
Obviously, yeah.
And he gives us a, like, you will not break me, fuck you all. And this is obviously like, he is choosing to kind of brood in his own thoughts, because he has no choice, because he's made the decision to support Donut. And I like that, like, he kind of makes that active choice, even though he knows that this is gonna not be good for his mindset.
Mhm.
Anyway, he does manage to fall asleep to find Samantha reading Donut's social media board. And as always, like, we haven't really been doing Samantha a lot of justice. She's constantly been telling people, like, I will kill your mother. And he's like, Samantha, leave that alone. And she's like, let me read it, or I will find your mother and you will know, and you know what will happen. And then there's this creepy little detail. She turns to Carl and goes, oh, by the way, you talk in your sleep. And we just move on from that. She doesn't say what he said.
Right?
Why? Why is that there? Why did you
I
put that
want to
on the
know.
page, Matt Dinniman? I need to know, but you're denying us. Yeah, it's creepy. There is something going on with Samantha,
Oh,
and
big time.
some connection to the scavenger,
Oh
or
yeah. There's a connection to Scavenger and a pedo and
a
possibly
pedo,
Nekabit. And
and
like,
yeah,
is she the Scavenger's daughter? What is she to them? Did she kill Gayron? Like,
right.
it's just
Who
like,
knows?
there's all these
Ugh.
possible connections, and it seems so weird. And like the descriptions that we hear, I'm just like, who is Samantha? Who is Samaeve? Like, it's just
Yeah,
ah.
it's tough. I desperately want to know, but she, like, is only used as this, like, kind of comedic relief
For now.
for the most part.
For now.
Um,
She'll become important. Like, she is important, but like,
yeah,
well, she is like, we will find out. I
we
know
will.
that.
We will. Okay. I need to remove this bot. Banned. Okay. Carl then proceeds to open up a gold Prepotente box, which he and a lot of crawlers are getting for ending their card fights, like, before any cards are played. And it's basically like, Prepotente fucked over the game designers, and y'all are fucking over the game designers by not letting these card battles play out. So we're naming a box after Prepotente. The description even further mocks Cascadia, who the AI tells us is recently divorced, who poorly designed the floor and cannot control anything. It is just actively making fun of her. I love that it's kind of like shattered the veil of like separating the crawlers from the administrators running the crawl, and it's now like pointing at them and making fun of them. The AI is great. From the Prepotente box, all crawlers basically are getting something called a Filthy Little Crawlers Book of Voodoo, which is like a slow but effective mass messaging system. It's interesting. Like, you have to meet people to be able to like see their message that they put in the book, but any message you put in goes to every crawler that you've come across while possessing the book. So clearly this will come into play later, but it also seems kind of weird. Carl and Donut head back outside. They scaled the mud mountain. We learned that Imani's group fights their 7th opponent, but that opponent uses a flee card and escapes. And they cannot find the 7th opponent, which is kind of terrifying, since we also learned that if you don't get a stairwell key, you will have to fight another group of crawlers that have a key for their key in the 3rd phase of the floor. Louis' response to this: we should throw a Christmas party.
Yep.
Okay. Chapter 41, we learned that there are this is where we learned that there's consequences for trying to attack deck masters before they activate. We run into Carl and Donut's next deck holder. They get to the top, and then Donut, using her infrared vision of her sunglasses, notices an invisible monster called the Visitor, who they they handily defeat them, but are lucky that they are able to defeat it so easily because they effectively have 2 hard counters to the Visitor.
And the way that they defeat the Visitor is with the Yola cat.
Yeah. So the Visitor is a invisible night gaunt. Remember, Carl's cloak is like the leather of a night gaunt. He got it on like in the first book, and it hasn't come up yet. But apparently night gaunts are a real thing. A Knoll brought one to Earth, which created the urban legend around it. And the night gaunt the Visitor just stares daggers at Carl and doesn't even bother to play a card, even though it has the drop on Carl, because it's so enraged by its berserk effect from the cloak. And then they summon Yola, the Yule cat from Icelandic mythology, who is just a giant cat with a candle that just shrouds the invisible Visitor. But not before Carl breaks 2 of their cardinal rules of throwing explosives in an unstable area and throwing explosives at invisible enemies. And I think, it's hinted at but not made explicit, Carl is distracted by the Scavenger's Daughter patch, the bar being nearly full, because his hands are shaking and he breaks these rules. And also they forget to take out Mongo as soon as they get to the top, so they don't have Mongo for this fight.
Yes.
So it creates all these like complications for them, and it is stemming from Carl's like patch, I think, and there's hints of that. Yola, the Yule cat, gets summoned. There's a great description. It's a giant cat who hungers for the indolent, naked, lazy, unclothed, and those with tasks undone, and wants severed toddler tongue. Yola, in Icelandic, asks Carl and the Visitor, "Where are your pants and shoes?"
Yeah.
Next time I will eat you. And then Yola eats the Visitor and kills it quite quickly and easily. It's a really funny and weird interaction. They, of course, don't know what Yola is saying because they don't speak Icelandic, and the system is not translating it into Syndicate Standard because it doesn't need to. It's a card. It's funny.
So creepy. Like,
it's really creepy. I haven't looked up any art for Yola. but I really want
It's
to.
it's just that like so Yola is just like it's like a fluffy enormous cat,
It's just a
like a
big fluffy
giant cat,
cat.
and it has like a candle on top of its head, and the wax is like running down. Well, that's a
This
very
is,
sweet.
yeah.
Okay.
This is the art from the Dungeon Crawler Carl wiki.
Okay.
Um, Here's another one. I like this. This is much better. This is kind of scary. And then there's it's like a Krampus cat. This is really funny. I like this one the most.
They're all kind of like jolly though. Like
I mean,
I
it's a
haven't
Yule
seen
cat.
one
Why
that
not?
yeah, but like it's an Icelandic Yule cat. So like, look, European fairy tales and American fairy tales not the
True.
same.
True.
The Americanized
Um,
version of European fairy tales, I should say, because like Russian folklore and like German folklore, like they're cutting off toes and feet, and like children get snatched by demons and eaten for, it's not
True.
the same. There are
No.
no happy endings. So I don't know,
Mm-mm.
like an Icelandic Yule cat should be far more terrifying than the way it's being portrayed in the fan art, is my
That's
opinion.
fair.
So
That's fair. So they defeat the visitor. They then move forward. Like Donut on her map can like see where the next deck holders are, so they're just kind of like daisy
mhm,
chaining through them. This next one is in a barn. This is Iowa, like farmland, Iowa.
mhm.
So they enter the barn, which is just full of thousands and thousands of turkeys. And there are ceiling heaters which are now on overdrive because Iowa was cold and Florida is not at this time of year. Um, so there's also like a feeder system for the turkeys. And Carl's already like, this is a trap. I know this is a trap.
Mhm.
And despite anticipating it's a trap, Carl is distracted. They let out Mongo this time, preparing for the fight, but there are thousands and thousands of turkeys, and Mongo is a velociraptor. Uh, and they proceed to trigger the trap.
Yeah.
And in fact trigger two traps. There are two deck masters here. Somehow Donut misses this. And it's kind of like a reverse of the mistake that they just made. The mistake of not letting Mongo out in the previous fight, and they
Right.
accidentally let him out despite the obvious trap for Mongo. I'm gonna read here. This is a great quote. He sat
Yep.
there for a moment, his beak opening and closing a few times, as if he was contemplating the taste. Unfortunately for the turkeys, he decided they were delicious. He started tearing his way through the oblivious dumb birds like a goddamn weed whacker.
I mean,
Uh,
I imagine like have you ever seen like those pictures of like whenever a cat like when its eyes like its pupils go vroom, and they get enormous and like their eyes go all black. Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah,
imagining with
I
Mongo
mean,
looking at the turkeys like, "Oh my God.
this
It's an
is
all you
like
can eat buffet."
it is. It's like what if the velociraptors in Jurassic Park were distracted by animals and not the humans? Um,
Exactly.
yeah. Carl's like, get him under control. And then Donut's response, it's small farm animals. You know he can't control himself around small farm animals, Carl. It's just like you with Japanese porn.
She's like always cutting
She's
up on
always
him.
got one loaded in the chamber.
Yeah.
um, Mongo then trips the bosses. One of the bosses, which then triggers the second. The second one is a giant turkey, which is funny because like Mongo like gets up on the giant turkey boss and is like trying to eat it. But they can't quite see because of all the turkeys flying around. And so Carl's like, what's going on? Why is Mongo chewing on that one? And then Donut gets close enough to activate it,
Yep.
which knocks out Mongo, triggering the consequences that we just learned about of being too close when a deck holder gets activated. And they get a new achievement: prepare for trouble and make it double, which is a great callback to Pokemon, which this is all
Hmm.
like felt like the entire time. The Team Rocket reference is wonderful.
Yes.
You're being forced to fight against 2 card-wielding opponents at the same time. There's a big, long description. Gobble, gobble, bitches. Welcome to Iowa is how the description ends and how the chapter ends on this cliffhanger of 2 bosses activating at the same time. It's great. I love it. Chapter 42 begins with a Drachia or Drachea. I don't know how that's pronounced. Drachia entry in the cookbook, which talks about as the AI degrades, it like will take over mobs, kind of like how we saw with the priest at the near the start of the book, or in the first part, where the AI like possessed it. And Dracu's like, the AI seems to want to experience death, which is really weird. Like it will push the mobs to be more aggressive, and then like take control of them right as they're dying. This is very weird. If we recall, Drachia is the one who, during the last, I think, Naga crawl, had set up a big trap to kill some of the showrunners, but it backfired.
But not before they bankrupted the Naga. Like they're still trying to pay off.
True. But it's weird because in this entry, Drachia is like, should I try and convince the AI to possess a showrunner? Which then links to the, did she manage to convince it to take over a showrunner, set off the big trap to try and kill them, but then the AI fucked her over.
Drachia was a dude.
Oh, him. Sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, it makes the like Drachia's history very complicated and weird.
Yeah.
In his interaction with an AI. Carl and Donut begin to protect the knocked out Mongo and fight Tom the giant turkey and Sharp Elbows, a necromancer orc, who are the next 2 deck holders. And through the AI's description of Tom, we learn why turkeys, this is Matt Dinniman just being a nerd learning about the world and how it works. The AI is like, hey, did you know that turkeys were bred out of brown feathers into white ones to make them look more appetizing? And then it kind of pivots into, and I'm just going to read the quote here. Funny, isn't it, how things can be bred in a way that makes it so those holding the butcher knife are less likely to face their own revulsions. There's no point to this, just an observation. I've been doing that a lot lately, said the AI. Observing things, noticing them. It's all right there if you look long enough. So there's a lot to unpack here because the seeded planets have life growing on them that have been molded by the Syndicate in preparation for the reaping of the crawl. So there's something to be read there. But as we hear more from the AI in this and the next few chapters, it becomes obvious the AI is in fact talking about itself.
Yes.
And how AI are created to be repulsive because the AI at the end of a crawl are either killed or threatened to be killed and left isolated. And the AI is remarking on this. It is becoming very self-aware, not only of itself, but of what its future is.
Yes.
And the Syndicate's designs for it.
There have been several references up to this point about, about from Carl about how the AI is a protected whatever and how but humans aren't because they're in the crawl. But then from the AI's perspective also, like it has spoken about like what its future looks like just what you're saying, but it knows that like it's basically going to be like banished into like
retired or left alone and isolated.
Exactly, like isolated, starving, alone, like it's just dead. It will die without this like other purpose, but also like it's left to be insane and alone. Like it understands what's happening to it and what their plans are, and
Yeah, it's very interesting.
unfair from its perspective as well. Like it oh man, just
Yeah, let's put a
it,
pin in that notion of
yeah.
the AI is going to be left alone, and the AI now knows this. Loneliness is such a big theme in this book. I've been talking
Yes.
about how like the feeling of isolation that
Hmm.
Carl and Donut have felt, despite even being around lots of other crawlers and even interfacing with their own people. I'm going to continue to talk about it because it's very
Please. Yeah.
interesting. Um, so the AI continues with the description of Tom and talks about like Tom's, fictional backstory of having a crisis of, oh, it's actually not fictional. We learned that the giant turkey feral
From the
god
bubbles.
from
Yeah.
the bubbles that was killed, it was the god that Tom worshipped. And when it was killed, Tom had a crisis of identity, but this other boss, Sharp Elbows, um, helped it moving forward. And then the AI just like makes some philosophical remarks about like crisis of identity stuff. um and Carl responds to all this by being like, what the fuck, this is like really stupid, can you cut it out with these really over the top descriptions? Which is funny because they are like extremely insightful sometimes. And Carl's like, can we go back to normal descriptions? He then tosses an explosive, which detonates early, causing big problems for them. Things get set on fire. They are in this, giant mound of dirt in Iowa, and it starts to destabilize the place.
Hmm.
It is not clear why. The AI then retaliates as Carl looks at Sharp Elbows with its description of Sharp Elbows and goes, blah, 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 basically a necromancer. You want short descriptions? Okay, you little bitch. It's not like you're at a disadvantage when the descriptions are long. Your perception of time slows during these moments. I could make one of these as long as a Zack Snyder film and it wouldn't matter. I do that for you because of our special connection. And you don't appreciate it? Fuck you.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
first time I don't know if it's ever actually mentioned by Carl, but I don't think we knew that time compressed during
Oh
these.
no, it has been mentioned before. It was
Okay.
because of like prior to, yeah, like because like during a boss battle or whatever, whenever they're getting those descriptions from the AI, the boss isn't attacking them when it absolutely could. So it's like time
No,
is
we're told during
significantly
those
slowed.
that they are frozen, like in place, so all the fireworks and pageantry can happen. But during descriptions, time is compressed.
I feel like it was mentioned previously, or maybe it was just something that I assumed was
Assumed, yeah.
happening, because like some of these descriptions, like you mentioned, are incredibly long.
So
Incredibly long. But
yeah.
like,
I think this might be the
yeah,
first time it's like put on the page, but I might have missed
explicitly
it
stated.
in book one. But I know there's a distinct difference when it's like boss battle and fireworks and so
Sure.
and so versus so and so. And I think that those are moments of frozen, like freezing the crawlers and the NPCs so that the viewers who are not able to compress time can see that pageantry. Whereas with descriptions, because of their complicated streaming and how it's like 4-dimensional, and I think in some of the early books we learned that like viewers' experience of streaming is not like a TV; it is very complicated. But I bet the viewers have access to the descriptions, but not in a compressed way.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah, no, I
it's
feel
but
like
it
it was stated at some point, or like implied maybe, because
sure.
like some of the descriptions are so long that like like even if it's not a boss battle, like the one when they're fighting like these other teams or whatever, and they're getting the description of them, like nothing happens, but it's not strictly speaking like a boss battle. It's like
Right.
even when
Yeah.
he's getting a description of like another crawler.
True. Yeah.
I,
Anyway,
I,
yeah. So that to me, this was shocking. It probably wasn't for most people. Anyway, but the AI, I love that the AI is like, I'm doing this for you. Like I'm compressing time because like who cares? I'm giving you info and you're just spitting in my face. And then it goes on and it actually gets to the description of Sharp Elbows after mocking Carl. And it says, this legendary creature has a really interesting backstory, but you don't want to hear it, do you? Suit yourself. I hope you haven't killed too many of those turkeys. There's your description, you ungrateful little prick.
Yep.
Which is really funny because we've gotten 2 pieces of info and it comes really fast, and we're kind of focused on the hilarity of the AI retaliating, that the reader might overlook these things. Necromancer, hope you haven't killed too many turkeys. And it goes, oh, okay, great. It can resurrect these turkeys. This warning goes beyond this immediate fight, but we don't realize it yet, and we won't until later. It's just, I'm noting that right now.
Yes.
Carl does look at the turkeys, the ones that he's killed to protect Mongo, and he is just kind of like, uh-oh, gulp. He realizes that the heat lamps are what are igniting his explosives early, and those explosives are eroding the land around them that is now beginning to fall into the sea. They are on the edge of the cliff, and it is, eroding towards them. They are overwhelmed by the number of turkeys and the number of cards that these 2 bosses are throwing out. They are given an additional warning that zombie rules apply when some of the turkeys start getting resurrected, meaning that they need to avoid being pecked even once. And
or
Carl,
scratched.
Or scratched. And Carl is forced to use his now charged up Scavenger's Kiss. And he, I think, attacks Tom with it, and explodes him, and also wrecks the building and the land around them. And the
he
whole
turns into mist, basically.
Yeah, he vaporizes.
He vaporizes
a boss. Yeah. And the whole place starts to collapse. Carl grabs Tom's corpse, thankfully, before it falls into the sea. Donut pulls out Lazarus a Bang Bang, who Carl immediately goes no, but he fires and his rocket propelled grenade explodes prematurely, and everything just goes to hell as they all begin to fall. Carl and Sharp Elbows, as they're falling, grapple each other, and I think Carl grabs a beam or something, and Sharp Elbows, who is just covered in spikes, perforates him. Yeah. Including graphic warning, his eyeballs.
Sorry.
At this point, people know what they're going to get to with this book series, I hope.
Yeah.
And she just, Sharp Elbows, starts to whisper awful stuff into his ear as their faces are smushed together. They starve us, the ogre growled. When we're not here, we are there, the ogre witch whispered. And when we're there, they make certain the hunger festers. You can stop it. You can satiate us all, Carl. They're eventually pulled away. There's a gross description equating it to Velcro. His eyes heal quickly due to some potion stuff and heal ability, and the ogre face is right there, staring directly into my eyes, and they were pleading, sad, afraid. I've seen those eyes before. This is creepy.
It's incredibly creepy. And so, with that description, this is incredibly interesting to me. And obviously, I read the subreddit and everything for Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yes.
There are a lot of theories about whose eyes they could be, because we have determined at this point that the AI is using the biological matter that was claimed from the initial collapse to create these monsters. So they're they're using people, humans, and so there's some question as to, but then we also read that description from Drachia in the beginning from the cookbook. So talking about how the AI is
degrading,
inserting itself into these NPCs to experience death. So there is some question about I recognize those eyes. Whenever he's having this moment and he sees the eyes and he's is it that the eyes were the eyes of someone that he knew in his real life, or is it that he recognizes the madness in
the
AI behind
is
the
it
NPC?
Is it just the notion of the fear in the eyes that he's seen? Is he recognizing the emotion, or is he recognizing specific eyes? Some of the
Right.
theories I saw were, is it the hoarders?
Mm,
Is it Astrids who they just killed?
right, exactly.
Or is it the
Like,
AIs? Yeah.
is it just the familiarity of like the desperation and the fear and the sadness and like almost like relief for death? Like like that. It's that what a wonderful passage because like there is no direct answer. Like there's no right answer for this. Like
Yeah.
this is mentioned, but like and we have our theories, but nothing specific
Correct. Yeah. And
is
I like that it's
so we
open to
can
interpretation. Yeah.
me too. Yeah, like it's interesting. But and maybe it's all of those things. That's the
Yeah.
thing that is great about it is like maybe we're all
Yeah.
right, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Drakia's, I'm going to read from her passage or his
yeah.
passage. The voice that runs this world has been getting stranger and stranger in its words and rulings. This is just referring to the degradation of the AI. I believe it is moving into the minds of these monsters, taking them over, but just at the point of death. It's as if it's desperately attempting to know what it's like to lose it all, but it keeps failing, so it keeps trying. Its frustration grows. So it is weird that we get the like, they starve us, when we're not here, we're there.
Yeah.
But that's like, that doesn't
But
feel
this
like the
NPC is
AI.
awake.
It's
That means
like,
this
yeah,
NPC is awake
this
though.
isn't an awake NPC. I feel it's also like there's sad, pleading, and afraid, not frustration. So I don't think this is the AI. I think the AI might have woken this NPC up to
Maybe.
like
Yeah.
like maybe partially possess it and feel what this NPC is feeling. But I don't think the AI has fully possessed this NPC, if at all. And yeah, because there's a lack of frustration. But maybe our AI is early in its attempts to experience death. So maybe it is the
Mhm.
AI. I don't know. It's
Things
weird.
are happening sooner and sooner. Like like over and over again, we hear it's unprecedented. It's never happened this early in
Yeah.
the crawl before. Like from the very first book,
Right.
that is a thing that has been said over and over.
Yeah.
So
Yes. So they ultimately kill um Sharp Elbows. I think Raul manages to kill them, and it's like a narrow victory because like everything's falling
right.
apart. Mongo's about to fall into oh yeah, while all this is happening, Carl is holding onto Mongo and a beam while he's being
Yeah,
impaled. It's great. It's nuts. It's absolutely disgusting and very tense.
very
But
gross.
Raul kills Sharp Elbows. Mongo wakes up. Carl throws Mongo up to go help Donut get out. He starts to pass out, and Mongo and Donut, or I think they come back down, and Donut like teleports them away with Puddle
She
Jumper.
does a puddle jumper.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's at the like so like yeah, Sharp Elbows dies, right? And then he pulls
Yes.
her corpse into his
Oh, yes, that's
inventory.
right. Yeah.
So he's got Tom, he's got the corpse of Sharp Elbows.
Yeah.
Uh as he is like passing out, I think prior to that, he threw um Mongo back and Mongo was like Mongo up in like the bleak like up in the beams
The
or
rafters
something
or
the
something. Yeah.
rafters because at this point like the whole barn is like literally sideways
Collapsing and yeah.
collapsing and falling into the ocean. So like they're all horizontal, like they're all like vertical basically. Like the barn went from like standing
Right.
upright to side. So and then he starts to pass out. Donut like grabs onto him as he's passing out and about to fall, and then Puddle jumps away. And
Yeah.
when he wakes up, they're somewhere else. They're like on a flat patch of land, and Donut is acting weird.
Yeah. I'm gonna note here. There's like a really great moment right as they kill Sharp Elbows. My health stuttered. I had a gaggle of debuffs, including woozy and sore as shit and something called bonked. The ring Pater Cole had secretly helped me buy at Club Vanquisher. The one disguised as my strength ring burned. It was supposed to
Yes.
keep certain debuffs at bay, but I'd been warned it could get overloaded. But what could I do? I couldn't take it off. And so we're getting more into the like what actually happened in Club Vanquisher. Also, by the way, my Club Vanquisher shirt is on.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck
yeah.
yeah. I
And
love it.
and this is just a callback to like Carl told everybody that he spent a lot of money to get rid of the slug pox, but that's not what he did. Like we have been
No.
alluded to that. And this is just another like, oh, Carl got a ring instead. Interesting. And it's helping
Carl
him
did
with
a
all these
sneaky.
debuffs. Yeah. Anyway,
Carl did a sneaky.
so Carl wakes up, chapter 43, having dreamt of the river sweeping him away and of Sharp Elbow's eyes. He continues to wonder where he'd seen them before, and then he moves on. Because Donut is freaking out about like, where are the bodies? Our tokens are in the ocean. You're gonna have to go down there because I'm not going. Which is funny because considering she's been panicking about being left alone without Carl, and she's like, "You're gonna have to go in." And he's like, "It's fine. I have the bodies," which is what pulls him out of his wonderment of the eyes. There are zombie animals everywhere, and the zombieism is spreading despite the original source being dead. This is the real warning. Is that it's going to continue to proliferate. Donut is acting strange, as you mentioned, and it becomes apparent that she does not want to let Carl join the final fight, which again is weird considering she doesn't want to be left alone and she is not enjoying being the one in charge. It is revealed after he gets her to come forward with what she's freaking out about, that it is likely they're going to have to face their dad, which we already know he suspected. And she knows because she saw his motorcycle up ahead, his dad's motorcycle, which she remembers seeing in Chaco's prize options when they first met Chaco. And that the boss silhouette on a vending machine that they have to put the tokens in looks like Carl.
Looks like Carl, exactly. But with better hair, she said.
Carl reassures her as they proceed and go to find the final boss. We then get at the start of chapter 44 this kind of like single line paragraph, like this aphorism from Carl. Sometimes things are exactly what they seem to be. Sometimes there are no surprises, and despite your intention to gird yourself against what's about to come, it still hits you with the force of a kick to the stomach. Yeah, ominous. It feels like a cookbook entry, but it's not. This is unlike Carl to say things like this, so it really does kind of stand out. They approach. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's like all of the shit, like from the previous, I don't know how many chapters was it, like the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chapters has been leading up to like this moment, and like all of the subtle hints. Iowa, we see his dad's motorcycle. He's kind of like psyching himself up, but not only that, like other people have already gotten to this point and they're saying like I had to fight my family members, and it's like he knows what is coming, and he's like he's already made peace with it up till this point.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it feels that way because especially as he's like reassuring Donut, she's the one freaking out and he seems very calm. Like he's like, thanks, I know you're trying to help me, but it's really fine. It's okay. They're doing this actually, he's like, you know what, Donut, it's okay. They're doing this to everyone. We have to get it over with. He's like trying to say that it's fine. We have to deal with someone important to me because they're doing it to everyone. Carl, just because they're doing it to everyone doesn't make it okay and make it any less horrible for you. That's a bad excuse. But anyway,
not only that though, but I would say that also like Carl he didn't know if his dad was alive or dead at this point.
Yeah.
And like his dad died to him a long, long time ago.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So like he's like, so what? So what if I have to see this fucking monster? Like I don't care what I
Well,
see in this trailer. But
yeah.
again, unreliable narrator,
Well,
but at the
and
same time, like trying to psych himself up and convince himself more, I think, than Donut too.
yeah,
In
and
a
as we're
sense.
about to learn, he or no, I think we already learned this. His promise to his dad, like when I grow up and get big enough, I'll finish what mom started. I think we had
Yes.
already heard that promise. So this is like, okay, great. He gets to face his dad, which he had been denied, if his dad died early or if not, like, okay, so what? He gets to fight his dad. He wants that. At
He
least
wants that,
he
yeah,
did
that
at the
close.
time. Um Anyway, actually, the previous chapter ends with good girl. Now, come on, let's go say hi to dad, which I think further reiterates like Carl feels in control here. So the fact that he's like at the start of the next chapter, sometimes things are what they seem to be, but it still kicks you in the stomach is like, oh
Hmm.
shit. He did seem like he was in control and was going to be fine, but something's about to happen that is
Right,
unexpected. So it's
right,
like a nice setup, but it does come weird because these aphorisms, like Carl's never talking this way. So it feels a little
right.
weird, but it does kind of punctuate and underline like, here we go.
Yeah,
Here's the big
like
moment we've been waiting for 6 books.
based on the fact that like he never speaks that way, the fact that this is something that was worth mentioning in his like in his monologue to himself or to the reader or whatever
Yeah.
is makes it worth note
Yeah.
of note.
Yeah. So they head into like an area that that has it's like a part of a trailer park or whatever. And there's like a clear like zone, which is the area where this final boss location is going to take place. And a countdown timer to the boss fight appears as soon as they like trade in their tokens to enter the area. And Carl realizes that this zone has been spliced in,
Yes.
and it is not from the like December, like around Christmas time period of the ghosts, recording. This is from
Huh.
another time. Because like the snow, there's no snow here. There wasn't snow here, even though the snow everywhere else is melting. Now that Iowa's been pulled to Florida, no, this little zone does not have snow in it and didn't. So they basically are like an ominous feeling washed over me. Why would they do that? It's because, and then there's this strange voice in italics. It's because they want you to see something specific they caught on their magic cameras. So at face value, Carl's realizing, okay, I'm about to see something they really want me to see for whatever reason. But I want to
Hmm.
ask you, this voice that's in italics, it's because they want you, Carl, to see something specific they caught on their magic cameras. Does that sound like Carl's voice?
It doesn't, but also like it it doesn't.
Would Carl call
But
it their magic cameras? I'm not convinced he necessarily would. And
but
I feel
it
like
it
he would say it's because they want me to see something. He doesn't say you in his internal thoughts. That's weird to me. This feels like someone else is speaking to him
it
in his
does,
mind.
but in well, in the it's not it's not super clear, especially like even in the audio version. Like it's still read in his voice. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like they want me to see something, they want you to see something. It does sound like it's another person speaking to him, but like I don't know. I think it's worth noting that Carl is
As yeah, go ahead.
let's put a pin in that and come back to it because like there's other stuff going on inside of Carl at this point.
There's a lot going on in Carl.
Yeah,
The river.
so yes, and his like he is splitting. He's like, I know that that's his mantra, like, you will
Uh,
not break me. He's like, he's
also,
already
sorry.
partially broken at this point. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
anyway.
Also, he has looked directly into Shamaria's or Shimaria's fifth eye.
Shimaria. Uh-huh.
We have no idea what the effect of that was. From chapter 29 last time, I could feel it calling to me like there was a physical line between that extra eye and the center of my brain. It's the river, I thought. It's the river in my mind. I didn't know why or how I thought that. The thought didn't even make sense. Maybe this is Maria talking to him. I also have a very strange theory that when he ate the worms in the third floor, that Grimaldi was left with him.
No, he barfed
Uh,
those bad boys up.
yeah, and he took the poison or whatever that killed him, but maybe a part of his consciousness stayed in Carl's mind. Like, we don't know how primals work.
I don't
Anyway,
know how primals work, but no, this is a very
yeah,
interesting
this is weird.
passage. And yeah, it's like they're magic cameras, but like maybe it's
Yeah.
meant to be more derogatory than
Yeah.
anything. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be him just being like, yeah, however they recorded all this bullshit,
Hmm.
the technology I don't understand, and when we don't understand technology, we equate it to magic. Yeah. Anyway, it's just really interesting, this italicized single line paragraph. Okay. We get this really powerful moment. It feels kind of innocuous. I found it remarkable immediately after this, where Carl like finds the Harley Davidson, and is like, this thing he never shut up about. It's his prized possession. It's like this thing that represents his father to us. It's been like imagery we've seen and has been talked about, how, when Chaco's prize wheel, there it was, his dent in it, and how his dad had like, gotten really angry at him when he did that. And Carl approaches it, this heavy symbol of his father, and he just picks it up like it's nothing because of the enhanced strength. And he pulls it into his inventory, and he realizes that it is not being treated like these ghost memory objects where it will disappear at the end of the floor. It goes into his permanent inventory. This area is different. And then Matt Dinniman through Carl just starts slowly walking us through everything that they find and see in the yard, including all these like little indications and not so little indications of like gardening and children playing. Like, there's bikes here, and Carl thinks about when he had bikes. And this scene just kind of slowly creeps and slowly like holds us in this moment of foreshadowing of what Carl's about to find.
He's hoping that he won't find what he thinks he's going to
Yeah,
find.
yeah.
But
And in the meanwhile, like in the distance, he can hear like the land eroding into the scene. It reminds me very much of like the deepest level in Inception, where like the world is like crumbling
oh
and falling apart, and
yeah,
it's like very otherworldly or alien apocalypse world, like very conceptually like isolated and alone as
yeah,
things around him are
Stark.
falling
Hmm.
apart. Yeah. Stark is a great word. um Meanwhile, Carl is just like slowly and quietly looting everything he can outside, and then ultimately enters the trailer, asking Donut to remain outside, and she offers one last time for him to just like let the timer run out without going inside, and to just wait with him. And he goes in.
Yeah,
um he finds his father in a hospital bed that has been set up inside this trailer. Like and he like is immediately assaulted with like the scent of his father, like a musk that he recognizes, and talks about like the memory we have of like how our parents smell, which feels very human and like is definitely something I can like connect with. And recognizes the way his father holds like the TV remote, the way he used to hold beer bottles, Carl realizes. And
hmm,
just Carl remembers how like larger than life and intimidating his father used to be, and we've like felt that throughout the series, the way he's talked about his father. And then he's just like, this is it, this is what I've been afraid of.
The
because his
description of him is like emaciated,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like sick, and like he used to have like all this really beautiful thick hair, and now
yeah.
he's got like these little wisps of gray hair on top of his head, and he's
Hmm.
just like this sunken, shriveled version of the man that he used to
Yeah,
remember.
he's very sick and very meek. And it
Yes,
kind of denies Carl the full catharsis of confronting his father, because I think it would
yes,
land differently if his father was like healthy, and
hale
that
and
if
hearty.
yeah,
Yeah,
and if he was healthy and he could say, this is it, this is what I've been afraid of, it would mean more than, oh, well, my sick father is less of a threat. This what I've
it's
been afraid
the
of.
it's the
Yeah.
shadow. It's the
Yeah.
shadow. It's your memory, and it's the way things become inflated over time. And
Right.
when you're confronted with the reality of how things actually are, it's not
Yeah.
that bad. It's like, okay, to do the hyperbolic humorous comparison, it's like when I have to make a phone call
Uh-huh.
to to do something important, but like in my head it's this big overinflated horrible thing, but then it actually takes 2 seconds, and it
Yeah.
wasn't that bad after all.
Mhm.
But like with with human interaction and like the ghosts of our past and things,
Yeah.
so but yeah, like it's we blow things out of proportion in our own head. Not to say that like what he experienced wasn't as bad as what he experienced, because it absolutely fucking was. But like, when you see it, his dad, after all, was just a person. He's just a person.
Yes.
Just a dude. Just some
R-
fucking dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Um yeah. Um so Carl kind of takes in the fact that his father is sick. He's like watching him like yell at the television, and like the remote falls out of his hands. It just like punctuates how weak his father is at this point, and how like he is dying.
Yes.
Um, he is then confronted with the fact, the thing that he was fearing. But there is evidence all throughout the inside of the trailer too that his father has a new wife and a new son, which
Yes.
I think is the biggest shock to him. As his father yells at a boy named Asher. His father like yells at him to come get the remote or whatever, or is like, oh no, he turns off the TV and is like, go get me my cigarettes. And the boy just kind of like sits there, kind of frozen. And Carl then anticipates what his father's going to say. It's really beautiful. There's this line, the boy stood there frozen. Carl's italic inner monologue, move or I'll make you move, boy. And then in quotes, move or I'll make you move, boy. It
Uh-huh.
just hits really hard on the page.
Yes.
That like Carl knows this man, knows his oppression, knows his wielding of power, and his tools and his toolkit to control and manipulate his son. Um, really, really striking. Uh, and then Carl, like as this interaction between Asher and their father is happening, Carl like is seeing Asher and recognizing like, this is my relative. These are my dad's features. They are my features. They are in this person as well. This is my half brother. Um, and Carl's stepmother gets associated through Donut, who's outside and can see the stepmother like going to some of her pottery, and like the gardening is hers.
Where
It
the
becomes
plants were. Yeah.
yeah. Carl has taken them, but she is where they were. The way the ghosts have been working, and then Carl starts to recognize that there are a lot of decorations around. I think we also see a picture of her wearing some at their wedding of alliums, a flower named
Hmm.
alliums, which are also, I believe, uh, they're like an onion type of plant. Um, but I looked this up. They represent unity, prosperity, good fortune, and patience. Ironically, because it seems
Yeah.
that this woman has none of these things now.
Well, she's run out of them. She may
Yeah,
have had all of those things, but everyone reaches their limit.
yeah. Yes, I mean there's like a photo of them happy at their wedding, where Carl's dad is in like his biker gear and they're at like a biker bar. So it's like this kind of, uh, country, biker type wedding situation. You just start to paint a
Yeah.
picture of how they came together and
Yeah.
the
Like his
type
dad
of
is
yeah,
in his cut in a bar.
yeah,
She's in like it's not
a
exactly
dress,
a
like a
wedding
spring
dress,
dress or
but it's like
whatever. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. But it's very clearly their wedding. But like he's a healthier version of himself, if not like a little bit older than the way Carl remembered him. So
right.
like
And
in
they
the
look
last few
happy.
years, and they look happy. Yeah. And
Yeah,
he even mentions like his dad could be really charming when he
right.
wanted to be. He could turn it on. And I think
Yeah,
Carl has those same qualities, right? Carl can be very charming when
right.
he wants to be, but
Yes.
he doesn't like the he he can be charming when he means it, but
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't do the like, false levity, like, false charm kind of a thing because his dad did it and like he fucking hates liars. He hates
Right.
that shit. He hates that drama. Like he hates drama, right? But
Yep.
like my
Yep.
God, this man has a dramatic past.
Yeah,
So
why can't we just all be honest about how we feel? Like why
yeah.
did my dad be manipulative? Why couldn't he just be
Yes.
a straight shooter?
Yeah.
Uh yeah.
Ugh.
Uh
Yeah.
yeah. So Carl wonders if the showrunners are trying to break him by showing him something that he didn't know he had, a brother. And as he's thinking about this, he reflects on Frank's words, and as he is comparing not himself with his father, but his stepbrother with his father. Kids aren't always a product of their parents, but sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes parents can cast a shadow so thick you can drown in it. Frank had said that to me right before he handed me the ring of divine suffering. He'd died soon thereafter. I said to the man who couldn't hear me, I used to be so scared of disappointing you, and I don't even know why. Um, Clearly, his father is casting a shadow over Asher, um, even though Asher is not like their father, at least not yet. Um, Anyway, so he just kind of takes in the whole situation. It becomes apparent that the mom is like really upset about something and had gone to her plant pots to get something and walks in with something behind her back, and is like, it's time for your medicine. And he then directly speaks to his father, who cannot hear him because he's a memory ghost. You're a bully. This is starting the original conversation again, the last conversation they ever had, but it takes a bit of a different turn. You're a bully. Nobody likes you. Mom tried to kill you, and this is where it diverts instead of, and I'll when I grow up, I'll finish what she started. And in about 20 minutes, I'm pretty sure your new wife, my stepmother, is going to finish the job.
Finish the job.
You're so goddamn insufferable. She can't even wait for whatever this is to kill you off. Two different women, and they both try to kill you. What does that say? So this is like the catharsis of like, it's not just me who thought you were awful, and it's not just mom, it's another woman. And it's so bad that she can't wait a few days or weeks or hours. She's
Yeah.
going to do this herself. Uh
I
yeah.
think like okay, so this is an and maybe I don't know. I'm just gonna say it, and it's gonna sound like I'm a serial killer, but I'm not. I promise.
Okay.
Like I understand this inclination. Like I think that like she doesn't want to wait for like, not just because she's like run out of patience. I think she wants the like comfort of knowing that she was the one to kill him.
Yeah. This is like I could see this for from the stepmom's perspective, who I don't think we'd learn her name until later. But this is like, I'm not gonna be meek and just wait for my safety.
Yeah, why would I
Like
let
I
nature finish a
like
job that I could do myself right the fuck now,
yeah, I
you
have a
know?
son who is still being impacted, and if I don't take control of and get my power, take my power back.
Control is a great word for it. Yeah, because
Yeah,
she is taking control over a situation that
yeah,
is outside of her control. Like this man is
yeah.
dying, but like
Like
she wants the pleasure of being the one to kill him.
right. how
even
can I
though,
face myself as a mother of a son who's being hurt and oppressed
yeah,
by this man?
yeah, absolutely.
Like if I just wait for the safety to like come
But eventually, sure.
into,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. But like,
where when I could instead seize control and bring it sooner. How can I face my son if I just let this continue to happen to him
I
until the disease took?
I do think that there is
Yeah,
that happening, but like, but again, like, this is why it makes me sound like a serial killer. I do think it is a joy for her to do this. I think
yeah,
that there is pleasure in knowing that you were the one
hmm,
to end this person's life. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and again, it sounds. I don't care what it sounds like.
yeah,
We all, maybe not, maybe we all haven't had experiences like that, but like there are certainly people that I have
yeah,
known that I'm like, man, if I could pull the fucking trigger on this awful human being,
yeah,
like I would not lose a wink of sleep.
yeah,
So yeah, but I agree with you. Like
hmm,
she's like, what kind of a mother am I if I'm letting my son be impacted by this fucking monster? So yeah,
yeah.
amazing, beautiful scene.
Yes, Carl has this really
Sad.
cathartic moment. He's like, "Your passing is so unimportant, so insignificant, nobody will care. The only reason I'm here is because of these showrunner idiots. They think that this will I'll buckle under the pressure of seeing you, but this is actually a good thing. I'm not scared of you anymore. And this is exactly what I needed. You're broken, you're alone, you're nobody. I regret that you lived long enough to inflict yourself on my brother. But if I'm lucky, they'll resurrect you and let me kill you again," he says.
Hmm.
But I'm not even going to stay for this part. No one deserves to see your death. And he walks away
Yeah,
as Carl's stepmother injects a lethal dose of morphine into his IV. Um, and he steps into, this is really a really interesting line. He says, "I stepped into Ash's room." He's already like got a pet name for Asher,
yeah.
uh, which is kind of cute, but also kind of weird because it's like
It's really
he
fucking
doesn't,
sad. He's
yeah,
just like,
it's sad but cute, but also like he doesn't even know Asher, so like what, the pet name or nickname's a little weird to me, but
nah,
whatever. He like goes into his room to learn about him and Carl cries.
yeah,
I think this is the first time we've seen Carl cry.
yes,
um, and it fits. He has learned he had a brother that he didn't get to meet. He learns that his brother was afraid of storms from some of his like drawings. He takes some of Asher's belongings to remember him by, but ironically doesn't take any photos of Asher. He like justifies it as like this some sort of like reverence for not taking these very personal objects, but even though his stated goal is to try and remember his brother through them, it's a bit weird, and it feels like Carl isn't like is still coming to terms with this new pain and new uh
I, I,
sense of loss.
yeah,
I don't know, it's
I
really
think,
complicated.
it might also be okay. Well, so not that we know what is coming in the next
Hmm,
scene at this
uh-huh,
point,
yeah,
but I think that he's afraid that he's going to be forced to fight Asher at some point,
mm,
which is maybe why he doesn't want the picture as a reminder of whatever is about to come. Like even if it's not this scene, it maybe like later in the dungeon because like it could happen again.
yeah,
I think he just doesn't want that reminder.
yeah. I find it ironic, and to me, it's a clear indicator that like Carl is having a hard time with this, which is totally normal and
Yeah.
understandable. Um,
Takes his
Ash,
dad's cigarette.
he takes his dad. Well, for before that, his mother, the stepmom, comes in and is like comforting Ash, and is like, "Your dad's resting now. You just stay with me for a few minutes. You're gonna go over to Miss Tomlinson's house. Blah blah blah. You can go play with Elizabeth tomorrow. We're having your birthday party tomorrow." the whole thing of like leaving and stuff with his dad around the dad's son's birthdays is really ironic. As a reminder of Carl's trip to Texas with his mother for his birthday. It doesn't seem like there's a lot more to read into that there other than the connection. And then he goes into his dad's room, takes his gun and his cigarettes. And then he lights one as he steps out to meet Donut again. Are you okay? Donut asks. The timer has concluded. You may now proceed inside to face the key holder. I cracked my neck. Ooh, Carl is ready to go. I'm okay. You're sure? I said yes, Donut. That felt a little barbed, that line. I said yes, Donut. Good. That means I can tell you to get that disgusting cigarette out of your mouth. I love that line. That's so good. Her like not taking the barb from Carl, knowing it's not personal, knowing that Carl is feeling a little something and is reminding him, cigarettes are bad. I hate them. Get it out of your mouth. And Carl takes it. Yeah. But then Carl takes it and uses it to light the trailer on fire. So it's like this was his tool to start that burning and put a period on the closure. Oh, big chapter. So chapter 46, Carl and Donut begin to fight the boss that emerges from the fire of the trailer. It is the key holder. It is called a reminiscence Hydra of malicious compliance, which is a mouthful and odd for such an emotional boss. But the boss spawns right as Bowen loses control of the system, according to Zev. And this Hydra consists of a bunch of heads of people from Carl and Donut's lives. Carl quickly asks Mordecai for advice. He responds with a strategy to basically cut off the heads and cauterize the wounds. But first find the one that is resistant to fire and take that head out, because then the whole body will be vulnerable to fire. Anyway, the AI indicates that this is not the intended boss that they were supposed to face, and that the AI has seized control and is circumventing the rules, which it then mocks by changing one atom within Asher's body to make this within to make it malicious. Yeah, to be maliciously compliant. There's a lot going on here. I'm going to try and get through it really quickly. But basically, we learn from the AI. We learn about macro AI systems, that the mantises discovered them from the primals. We learn that the mantises are making more, and how the syndicates are using them for the crawls, and sometimes disposes them in their infancy while building them or after the crawl is over, which is why the AI is calling the syndicate hypocritical, because there are rules against using children as monsters and for bosses. Like there are syndicate rules against this, and they are using Asher by changing one atom in his body to be maliciously compliant with the rule. And the AI points out that, as we were talking about earlier, that the disposal of infant AIs is not protected under this rule. We learn that the mantises have recently discovered a new technique that they can use to lobotomize these AIs and make them more compliant. This has huge implications, because this means that this is one of the last AIs that will go primal. And that in the crawls moving forward, a rogue AI won't be as big of a deal, or won't be as likely.
If it goes rogue, it will be easily brought back to heal.
Yes.
Under the systems.
Yes, which has huge implications here. The AI ends its description with a big "fuck you, what about my wants and my needs? I'm alive, fuck your rules," it says, before maliciously complying with the rules. So the Hydra is a bunch of monsters, and one of the heads is the Totem Master. I think it's that one is like one of the judges from Donuts.
Yeah.
pageant days. Uh,
It's like the one, like I think like it was like the pageant, like maybe where she didn't take first place and get
right.
the blue ribbon, but we also find out that he was like sexually attracted to like
Yeah.
to cats, whether or not that's actually true or just the AI being the AI. I don't
Yeah.
know, but she's like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
She's in the
She's like,
background, like
yeah.
shrieking.
Carl, it's Judge Lucien or Lucian. She increased
Lucian.
her volume. We meet again, Lucian. Which is just like
Yeah.
a nice, like,
Yeah.
establishing a rivalry here. It's really funny. Um, the boss summons some totems of its own, including Alpha Male Carl, who is level 69, with its own patch
Nice.
jacket featuring patches that say number one son and brother of the century.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's
Uh,
so fucked up.
it also summons King Croissant, a fictional or maybe real kitten. That the description says this is the cat B really wanted and was going to replace Donut with, which is just two great like mock characters of our two favorite crawlers. It's
Just
an
like
epic, yeah,
a
yeah,
better version of the both
yeah.
of them.
It's really funny. That one is level 125. Or no, the Hydra is a level 125 city boss. Yeah, there's all kinds of great stuff here, but ultimately it's this really epic fight. It's very fun. Carl notes that the monster is like kind of a caricature and like too over the top to be taken seriously, and it like ends up working against the show, or like not the showrunner, because the showrunner didn't make this monster. It works against the AI, or maybe the AI intended it to be over the top.
Exactly. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's yeah. The AI's. I mean, the AI is like this super powerful like AI with all this magical power and processing power. So like, who knows how intelligent it actually is and what its true intentions are and what its true values are. But like, yeah. Anyway,
It feels like, yeah, it's like
yeah,
it's the AI's first attempt at like being naughty and like doing a thing it shouldn't do. And it
yeah,
just went way overboard and like
yeah, yeah.
Raleigh's
And
home.
it's
Um,
hello, Raleigh. Um,
if you heard a kiss sound, a little smooch in the
oh,
background, that was what
I
yeah,
did
say
not, but
one
I'm
word.
glad to know that it happened.
Sorry, but yeah, but it like went way
Yeah,
overboard and like completely defeated the purpose
yeah.
of like its own monster.
It's really funny that the fact that they're like making this Hydra and that this wasn't the intended boss, and that it's doing this to a bunch of crawlers, which we will learn later,
Mhm.
makes us really hate the AI, and be reminded that the AI is always working against us, even if it is helping us sometimes.
Mhm.
Because it's so ironic that in this moment that Carl is getting the catharsis of rebelling against his father, that the AI is getting catharsis rebelling
Yes.
against its
Yeah.
parents. Yeah, it's really funny. And that the AI is talking about like AI being left alone after the crawls,
Yes.
either
Yes.
killed or isolated and left alone, in a book where Carl is constantly like talking about being left alone. And we'll talk more about loneliness in the next episode, I think. Or maybe right at the very end of this episode. Anyway, um, they pull their own cards. She Maria is like the MVP. She starts eating the heads off of the Hydra, which it's kind of funny. Donut is like, she's filleting them.
She's filleting them, yeah, like because they like their necks are like very long
Yeah, and
and
she's just like,
like a hydra.
yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
You
Um,
nailed it.
yeah, it's an epic fun fight. It's very tense. Carl ends up using this like shackle thing that he puts over some of the necks, and then uses a wand of shrinking to like snap the necks off and
Yeah.
decapitate. It's very cool. They defeat the boss, but during the fight, when Maria is summoned, Carl at one point thinks to himself, he's like, has this kind of panicked thought to himself of like, no, kill Asher first. Let it be over for him. He's suffered enough. At which point, Maria stops and turns to him and asks him, Which one's Asher?
Yeah, she's in
What the
his head.
fuck?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
She is in his head. And he looks up at her. Her eye is open again. And he's looking into it again. And she does something to him again, and the effects are not clear. And then we hear her voice in Carl as he's looking into this. Ah, yes, I see now. Don't worry, Carl. I will not blind you. Not in the way you're thinking, which is a callback to, I think, Audette talking about how Bedlam brides are a thing in her culture. I think it was her, and how like there's like a loose translation, or maybe it was one of the cookbook authors talks
I
about
think it may have been a cookbook author.
yeah,
I was
but it's
I don't, it
like
doesn't.
if you stare into the eye, it will blind you to things, and this is basically a reference to that. Like, and also the guidebook that's like, yes, the Bedlam Bride and the Reaper Spider or whatever she's called, like they have all these abilities, and one of them is blindness. So there's all these references to like she can blind you in all these different like literal and physical and metaphysical ways. And she's like, I won't blind you, not in the way you're thinking, which is just so creepy. And then she kills Asher, and then says it again in his mind. There, Carl, the echo of your kin has been muffled. She's like, yes, I know that this is not your brother, but the echo of him. He rests. I have done something for you. Soon you will do something for me. Ah, yes, the Eye of the Bedlam Bride. It's still a thing. Even though she's working for us, she is a huge threat, and now she's going to be demanding something of Carl. Or force him to do something. Control
as
him,
terrifying
maybe.
as she is, they would not have made it through all of this
No,
without her.
no. She has been like. I hate the word invaluable because it means like more valuable than can be comprehended, but also sounds like it's saying not valuable at all. I guess unvaluable would be. Anyway, she's been insanely helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get through the fight. This crazy shit happens. Chapter 47 is kind of like the aftermath. They're sort of like waiting for the fire. Oh, fire raged everywhere because Carl used fire and set everything on fire to get the Hydra to die. Anyway, as they're like waiting for things to smolder and they're looting, Carl is talking to Donut and asks her about something she said during the fight about one of the heads, which was a former coworker of his. And then also one of the heads was Asher's mother. And Donut made like remarks about both of them.
Yes.
Or
she recognized them. She said she recognized them.
And then also some of the things that they said, those heads said to Carl, were things like trying to guilt trip him and, mess him up during the fight. But he had he had no reference to what they were saying. So he's like asking Donut about it. And she's like, Donut's like, oh yeah, B used your Facebook, Carl, and those people like reached out to you on Facebook, but B responded to them, which is why you didn't see those messages, which is so fucked up.
It's like okay, so like at this point, like we've kind of forgotten about B a little bit. Like basically we're just like, all right, bye bitch, bye Felicia. You know what I mean? Like she's out there in the universe. Who gives a shit? Fuck you, B. Like goodbye. And all at once, I was brought back to you fucking evil,
I know, right?
Horrible, nasty bitch. You a nasty bitch. Like fuck that fucking bitch. I hated her all over again.
Yes. So we learn that this coworker of Carl's had reached out to him and asked him out or something, or invited him to drinks. She being a single mother, I don't remember. I didn't write down her name here, but that it feels kind of rude to him be talking about this character without knowing her name. Anyway, but that B saw that, told her to basically fuck off, and then B and B's friend reached out to Carl's boss to get her fired. And then like did some sort of blackmail or sent like sexual photos, just like but
Her
photos from the
friend,
internet.
yeah,
Yeah,
that she just like pulled some other person's
yeah,
tits off the
yeah,
internet and sent it to him. Yeah,
and got that single mother fired. How awful! How
fucking
absolutely
villainous,
awful. Um,
horrible,
yeah.
horrible. She's a monster.
Sally,
She is
Sally,
truly
Sally was the coworker's name. And
Sally.
then and here for the and then we learn that B received a message from the stepmother
Yes,
reaching out to Carl and like just left it on red and didn't respond or whatever.
and there was a
Uh
picture of Asher also that she
yeah.
had sent because she thought Carl might want to know him,
Yeah.
and
So
she responded as Carl saying no,
yeah. So
want nothing to do with you.
so the stepmom had found out about Carl, reached out to him, and B had kept this from him. And for the
Yes.
first time ever, Carl gets pissed off at B. And, we're already furious. Not for the
Oh yeah.
cheating or the plan to give up Donut. He didn't get pissed off at her about those. But, I mean, he should have been mad
He
at her
didn't
for those.
I
But
think he was
for,
mad at her, but he didn't hate
yeah,
her.
no, he is
Like,
furious at
he
her.
hates her in this
Go,
moment. Like, even when she was, like, cheating on him, he found out everything. He's
yeah.
mad at her, yeah. He was disappointed, he was disgusted, he wrote her off, but he didn't feel hate for her.
No,
He
no,
hates her.
during those moments I was just pissed at myself for being so stupid and naive. So he like
Yes.
was doing the self-blame stuff at that. But this has crossed the line for his form of coping or
Oh, yeah.
compassion, whatever it is, maybe, naivete, and how he like directs his feelings. But yeah, he is furious at her for taking away the knowledge of his brother and his choices.
Yeah.
And then he gives her the benefit of the doubt.
I know.
It's she didn't want me leaving. That was the only explanation. I would have come here to Iowa, and she knew it. I felt sick. Part that was blah 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 blah. Part of me that desperately wanted there to be some good somewhere, and everybody I met, despite them showing me the truth over and over, maybe just maybe she thought she was protecting me from my father. So he's giving her the benefit of the doubt and chalking it up to her being protective. But then this inner voice comes through again in italics. It's creepy. This doesn't matter. This is done. It's in the past and it's blinding you. There's that word, blinding. It's making you weak. It's what they want. They're trying to break you.
It's okay. So Carl's voice. Okay, so this is reminiscent of the voice of the abused when speaking of their abuser. Truly, it's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that thing, and then they wouldn't have hit me. Oh, she had good intentions. She just did a bad thing.
Uh-huh.
I should, you know what I mean? It's like he's making excuse. And
Yes.
Carl, even though he's like a big motherfucker now and he's very powerful and very strong and he's kicking ass in the dungeon,
Yeah.
like he's a victim. He is a
Yes.
victim and he's making
Yes.
excuses for his abusers because and whether or not he realizes it. You know what I mean?
Well,
But this is
and
not uncommon.
right. Yeah. Like if you allow yourself to feel angry at someone, then you're acknowledging that you're
Yes.
hurt. Then you have to face those feelings. You have to acknowledge that you are a victim of some sort of pain or slight
Yes.
or yeah. So
Exactly.
he has refused to allow himself to be victimized and to acknowledge pain by just pushing it all down and justifying other people's actions and trying to see the best in people is his excuse.
Sure.
Even though
Yeah.
he definitely doesn't see the best in a lot of people.
No, he does not.
Yeah. So it's all like a lot of what he says falls apart when you scrutinize it. It's really great. And that's what I love about this main character. Yeah. So yeah, his inner voice tells him that he's dwelling that his dwelling is weak and in the past. That the fact that it says like they're trying to break you feels like it is either like Maria using his own words against him to get him to see things a certain way, or it is his own voice, or some combination therein.
Yeah, so you know how sometimes like your initial reaction to a thing is what you were conditioned to believe, and the next thing that you think as a result of that is like
Yeah,
is what is who you are now, the person you're trying to be. It's like
right.
it's there's a great quote about it. I don't have time for that right now, but it's basically like it's like when you look at someone, the first thought that you think is the thing that you were conditioned to think, the way that you were raised, brought up, whatever
Mm,
you were taught. And the
yeah.
second thing that you think as a follow-up to that first thought is is actually you. You know what I mean? You can't help
Oh,
your reactions to things that are instinctual because you were taught those things from like your earliest like
oh, interesting.
memories or whatever. It like the way that we can be judgmental of people's looks, right?
Right,
That's a learned behavior. That's a learned
right,
behavior.
right.
So, but then the thing that you think next, where it's like, well, you know, it's their choice to look that way, or they can dress however they want to dress, and that's not my fucking business. If they're happy, they're happy. That's who you
Yeah.
really are. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and we've seen
uh,
Carl like
yeah,
constantly being like, "Oh, don't be judgmental of the nuns. Don't be judgmental of the prison tattoos. Don't, he is a generally accepting kind of person
yep,
largely, not to everyone, but um yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, this is really interesting. Um so, let's see, where am I here? Donut calls Carl's dad the human equivalent of a cocker spaniel, which is hilarious. Uh,
Very hurtful words from her. Yeah.
this is so great. She's like, "Oh, Carl, what's your dad's name, by the way?" And he's like, "It's not. I don't want anyone to know. It's
I
like
love that.
he doesn't deserve it." And it
Nope.
denies us ever knowing what Carl's dad's name is. We never learn it in the series. Awesome.
Perfect. It's perfect. He's not worth
Um,
noting.
yeah. Carl is relieved to be done with all of the past connections being used. He says, in fact, the dungeon was blowing its wad on saved up relatives, like it had decided to get it over and done with all at once. Why did the AI decide to do that? I think we will find out later.
Yes.
Um, but I think part of my mind goes to like, well, this is the most crawlers we will have moving forward, so why not use them all up?
Yeah.
And it's also something we will find out about later. Like the AI is using them
Yes.
in a certain way.
Yep.
They collect their boss rewards. Donut, as they're reviewing some of the cards, they decide not to take Alpha Male Carl or King Croissant. Another card that wasn't played is Leveled Up Frank Q.
Yeah.
Like, what if he hadn't died and had not lost himself? Um, and but Donut claims that she's forced to take two of them and cannot rip them up. I wonder about that because Donut
Yeah.
wanted to take them.
She
Um,
did, but yeah, well, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, um, chapter 48. The party checks in with all of their allies and all of the fights that they are having with Hydras and the Fallout. I think it's mentioned like Carl and Donut were one of the earliest to do this.
Yes.
So they kind of get to go through it and be the first ones and share warnings and just see how it's going for everyone else without receiving any info from anyone else before they got to do it. Things are not going well. It is
No.
grim, though fewer people than expected are dying, but people are refusing to fight. Gore did not get her key. Louis and Brittany's Hydra included Fierce. So they are taking it rather hard. Imani still hasn't found their seventh deckmaster. They aren't even going to get a chance to fight their boss unless they find them.
Yeah.
Many people are refusing to fight their Hydras, which is all of it is setting us up for lots of the PvP for stairwell keys.
Yes.
Interestingly, the system seems to be pulling its punches with Katya. Carl says, like, he kind of chalks it up to the system knows she's broken and would rather work on others.
Yeah.
I find that odd. Why not try and finish her off and just completely break her down? I don't get it. But maybe there's something I missed. Anyway,
I think that, as someone who is important to Carl,
yeah.
we've already determined that the AI loves Carl.
Yes.
Like, it's definitely helping Carl.
Yeah.
And maybe if Katya was broken by this experience, it would break Carl also.
Yeah. Yeah. The AI seems to have a lot of scales that it has fingers on to kind of maintain a sort of balance of entertainment and difficulty and opportunity for success. And we never quite understand where it's at with those and why it's doing what it's doing. Not completely. Sometimes we get little glimpses, but here it's decided to let off the gas on Katya, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, they, despite the fact that they're in Florida and no longer in Cuba, they come across a lot of dead monk seals and land crabs from the Chowder War. Their bodies are washing up on the coast. The only description of their body says, killed in mass combat, war is hell. It's really weird. But it's also kind of nice because Carl starts looting all of their corpses for faction wars.
Yep.
He says Merry Christmas. I'm noting that there are many gifts being received in this set of chapters.
Yes.
He gets the gift of knowledge of his brother. He gets the gift of seeing his father killed. He gets the gift of all this mass combat fodder.
And his dad's motorcycle.
And his dad's motorcycle.
That he gets to keep because it was outside of the other, like, the memory ghost confines of, like, that zone. So, like, yeah, you're right. He is getting a lot of gifts. It's a Christmas miracle.
I don't think this ever comes up again, but he also did loot the morphine that his stepmother used to kill his father.
He did,
yeah. Oh, and his father's gun.
Like whenever, and his father's gun. Yeah, exactly. So, like, it is mentioned that he has the morphine because he looted the flower pot that his stepmom went to like get the poison for Cusco, like, which is hilarious.
That's really clever. I like that.
But yeah, like, he mentions that he has it now in his inventory. So
yeah. Yeah, it's probably worth mentioning that in this scene with Carl's father is played by Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about that before,
but
this is the scene where it is like, is it every time Carl's dad says something, like even in previous books, or is it just this set of chapters?
It's just this book, in just this set of chapters. Yeah, okay. And it's fantastic.
Great. That's great. I bet it's an amazing performance.
I'm gonna send you the book. Okay.
Okay. So Louis has set up a Christmas party in their shared guild space to cope with everything that's happening. We get all this like 1-2 punch of how grim everything is for everyone, and then we come back to the group and Louis has this Christmas party, which Carl is irritated by. Ironically, the changeling children and strippers who helped set up all the decorations are actually quite enjoying it. And the crawlers seem like they need it for the most part.
And this is great. This is a great scene because Louis lays down the fucking law on Carl. He's real with him for like a minute. You know what I mean? He breaks his own character.
I'm going to make a quick note about something that draws a parallel with another theme from a previous book. So the party, Carl describes the party like spilling out of the guild common room into Carl and Donut's like personal space common area for just the two of them of their, and it turns out that they opened that door so that they could get access to Carl's dwarf battery adapter so that they can run Earth electronics off of it. I noted this is a form of scarcity bringing people together, a scarcity of resources bringing people together. Scarcity
we definitely talked about that.
Causing competition being a theme from previous books. I just kind of, my mind was drawn to that, ironically. But then, Carl snaps. He calls it everything inappropriate and poorly timed. And Louis snaps back at Carl tears in his eyes and angry. He lists all the bad shit that's going on, including, quote, and every time I look at you, I get scared that you're going to go insane and kill everyone in the room because your eyes are getting wilder and wilder by the day. It's not just us noticing all of Carl's inner thoughts. Louis is, and apparently other people are noticing a physical manifestation of Carl's mental breakdown happening on his face. Louis lifted a shaking finger and pointed it at my chest. But not tonight. None of that is going to matter tonight. I don't care what you say or what you think. I don't care what day it really is. Tonight, it's fucking Christmas, and we're going to have fun and drink some goddamn eggnog and open presents.
Yeah.
There's a pause. This isn't Christmas, I said, turning to face Louis. He swallowed as he met my eyes. I love that, like, gulp. I pulled a turkey corpse from my inventory and held it out. Not until we eat one of these. Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah. He's like, you're right. I'm being a fucking prick right now. Everybody needs this. Like, lots of people don't have their keys. People had to fight their own mothers and fathers and children, and it's fucked up.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm an asshole. He's like, yeah, he's reflecting on this right now. And especially, it had to be bad for Louis.
Yeah.
To be the one to be like, shut your ass up, Carl.
Yeah. Louis, our like emotional heart of the series. Like he's the most average person of all the survivors. And a
Matt
person
Dinniman has said on multiple occasions that of all of the characters in the book, he is Louis.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that.
Yes, I think he's the one, like he and Brittany are the ones that were like, they're the most affected by things and not like supernaturally like strong and courageous. So it feels like we connect with their emotional state the most. Yeah. So yeah, it's really interesting. Carl's like instinct is to push back away from like these gestures and symbols of community and of like supporting one another and things that acknowledge like we need things in our lives that help us get through the tough times, because that would be acknowledging that we are vulnerable.
That your feelings been hurt. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that we need others and that we need symbols. No, Carl relies on his own strength, his own hypervigilance, which is definitely not something I have ever experienced in my life as a form of trauma. No, not ever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Carl kind of retreats from the party as expected.
Donut goes and has a great time. She jumps into it. She's like, I've always wanted to knock down a Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's so funny. Carl, it's a real tree. I've always wanted to knock one over. It's so funny.
She gets so pumped. Yeah.
It's so good.
It's a great scene.
Yeah. So Carl like pulls into a corner and starts looking like he doesn't participate. He's just going through his motions. He's looking at his achievements. The AI rewards them for killing a boss that it created and states that the AI has had an epiphany and realized that its constraints were an illusion. Remember that phrase we heard it say as Pater Cole, like, we all have our, limitations.
Our limitations,
well, apparently some of those were made up and that it could circumvent them through, bending the rules, or maybe literally by turning them off. I don't know. We don't know everything going on. And that the AI is excited to make the dungeon better that, quote, any mud skipper or worm can imagine, referring to the Bowen and the Volte. The different showrunners we've seen of this crawl. We also see that Mordecai and Mistress Tiatha are discussing how the AI has gone primal early. This is not new information to us, but they're discussing it yet again right as the recap episode comes on. Except it doesn't. It's Oren. Oren comes on with
Yep.
Cascadia, I think, or Zev.
Yeah,
Uh,
Cascadia introduces Orin,
yes, that's right.
and then the strippers from the club are like, "Hey, that's manager Orin. What's he doing
Yeah,
there?"
they
But
recognize him. Yeah, it's
he
really weird.
notices the ones that like of the strippers. He notices the ones that call out like, "Hey, what's he doing here?" Like who are surprised by it, and then the ones who aren't
Yeah,
surprised by it.
that's a little detail that gets some great payoff later.
Yes.
I mean, we already learned that um Herod and Astrid were crawlers who have
Yes.
children that are some of these strippers, and they may just be awake. It sounds like she was protecting them and made some arrangements to get her children and her husband and herself in the Desperado Club. So they may just be awake, like natural people.
Yes.
Uh,
Not
re-
NPCs. Yeah,
right,
like they're real human beings who have been transformed and are this
right,
now.
exactly.
Like they took a
So
deal, you know?
yes. So Oren comes on and explains that he is now going to read a statement that the AI is requiring him to state. He goes on to explain what primal engines are and macro AIs, which I love that stuff. I'm not going to get it too into it, but that's some of the stuff I really, really love in terms of
Mhm.
like the fictional structure of like, here is how the crawl has come to be, and the state of the galaxy is the way that it is. And he states that the AI has gone rogue and that today they lost control of the crawl. All of the bugs and issues we've been seeing have
Mhm.
been the AI asserting control and circumventing its own limitations. But that they have successfully negotiated a settlement with the AI. So there's more
Yeah.
politics and court cases and bullshit. Uh, in all of this, just some key details we learned. We learned that seeded planets are planets that were formed around a primal engine, which is like the size of a grain of rice. It's like a super, super computer that is super small that planets form around. And that the syndicate, a long, long ago, accidentally jump started them all, which created all the planets and the life on those planets. And it created a competition for resources, which I find odd because until all of those planets become space worthy, no, it didn't. But anyway, and that they created all these planets that are then reaped for their resources. Macro AIs are AIs that are installed onto primal engines. Primal engines have like an innate operating system, but macro AIs are added on top of that. It's like a motherboard and then the operating
Yes.
system you put on top of it. And that they design those AIs with everything that they need to run the crawl. I'm going to note that they design them to run the crawl rather than to do something, I don't know, amazing or beautiful or, something incredible like they do with the central system,
Right.
with an AI that can literally manipulate matter and make whatever it wants. You're
Why
saying
is
that,
fighting and like why is this the result of that?
right? I know
When they
it
could
doesn't make
just,
any
yeah,
sense.
it's yeah.
Well, Orin explains it's because that they are never fully stable, the AIs. Though the mantises now have a way of controlling that. We have also learned, but is not stated here. Orin explains that all the glitches and the illegal Hydra monsters were this AI using its power as a bargaining chip. That's why it's blowing its wad, because it is using them all as a bargaining chip. Tiatha during this points out that the showrunners are surely going to pull the failsafe, right as Orin is stating that this won't affect anyone at all and that it's going to be business as usual. He was just forced to say this as part of the settlement. Between the lines is what I'm interested in that usually the AI is going rogue near a time that crawlers are almost all dead. So most AI, by the time they are asserting their own control, have very little bargaining power because there are so few crawlers, but
Right.
not this time. Also of note, the promise, like we saw at the beginning of the first book, that you can reclaim your planet if you complete the dungeon is bullshit. The crawl never gives the
No.
crawlers the opportunity to do that because the syndicate or showrunner is never in a position to give the planet back over to the natives.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. It all falls
It
apart.
is all bullshit because no one has even if they win, they've never gotten to like the last level.
No.
There might be one survivor left, but then that survivor hasn't made it to the 18th floor
Right.
of the dungeon and they've taken a deal.
Right. Yeah. It's always deals well before. I think the farthest anyone's ever gotten was floor 12, maybe 13.
Yeah. Yeah. They made it they lasted 1 second or 10 seconds on the 13th floor.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they died immediately.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Nuts. Elle, we haven't seen a lot of Elle lately, but she has shown up here and there. She asked Carl if he thinks everything will be business as usual. In response to Oren saying this will not affect you, it's business as usual. Elle goes, do we think that? And then as if a response, there are several system messages. All the faction war teams attempt to abdicate their spots and leave the games, and the AI denies every single one of them. The Earth system is under quarantine per syndicate rules 470B through 495 in the System AI Stability Addendum. And as you all know, the AI says, the rules must be followed. There are these rules that are supposed to prevent the AI from becoming more unstable. Well, our AI is already unstable, so these rules have a purpose that doesn't matter in this moment, and the AI is enforcing them, keeping all of these teams here. All of these faction teams have lost confidence in the crawl and their ability to have fun in the faction wars, and believe that the system will, keep them in power and give them what they want, because the AI has gone insane. And so they're trying to leave and the AI won't let them. It's awesome. And also right at the moment, it's just 1-2 punch here. Then Carl receives an emergency box from the Open Intellect Pacifist Network. We learned that a liaison had seized this item, but it has been released to Carl by the AI, meaning likely Oren or Harbinger seized this. Chapter 49, Carl opens the box in his room in private, and he suddenly realizes these feelings he's having of how bare his room is, and it bothers him how bare his room is for the first time. Carl is letting go of his trauma and is realizing that beyond his trauma, he has very little expressive personality. I think it's here he takes out some of his brother's stuff and hangs it up, which is really cute. But just this moment of Carl realizing how empty his life is, because he's been holding on to these feelings and behavior that have been pushing all of himself down, is finally laxing up a bit. What's in this emergency box? It's a crumpled flyer for a homeless shelter. Wow, that's great. Well, there are instructions circling the date, like Christmas Eve or Christmas morning or whatever, and also no pets allowed, and then the address. The OIPN, which got him to come to Florida, wants him to go here at a certain time. And so he heads out and lets everybody know, I'm going to get some air. I'll be back later.
Some fresh air. Yeah.
Yeah. Zev warns him as he's leaving that his sponsor, the OIPN, actually sent the box a few days ago, but it was seized. And now everyone at the OIPN, including Rosetta, has disappeared.
And they are wanted criminals. They are wanted, and they can't find them. Yeah, I think she says.
Does she mention that here? I think Oren mentions it later, but I don't know if Oren does later, in the next chapter. But they are wanted terrorists on the run, fugitives. So Carl reflects on everything it took for them to get him here and get this in his hands, and is all right, well, gotta follow this through. And to Carl has an excuse, but to punctuate his isolation and disengagement, he leaves. The one time in this entire book that everyone is together and not in go mode. They're trying to support one another, which we know Carl values because he took time to support Donut, but he leaves on his dad's motorcycle in this sort of ironic fuck you to his father, which is just a great moment of like to punctuate his letting go of his, lifting up of his father as larger than life. And kind of taking control of.
And the homeless shelter is not that far away. So I think at this point, he's thinking, I'm going to go see what the fuck they want me to see. They sent me this thing. I have to be there at this time, but I have enough time that I could get back.
Yeah. Well, yes, because it's before phase 3 starts, or maybe before Donut wanted to go out and do more stuff, because they've completed phase 2 stuff for themselves. They've gotten their stairwell key. But they have to prepare for phase 3. But yeah, Carl leaves alone again. We get to chapter 50. This is going to be the last chapter I think I want to focus on. Chapter 51, I'm going to mention a brief thing about it, but I'm actually going to leave the last chapter for next time, because I think we need to talk about it in reference to the chapters that happen later, and it doesn't make sense to talk about now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. I like it.
Chapter 50 starts with Drachia, the 22nd edition author, this really ominous statement. If you get the chance, don't hesitate, not for 1 second. And this will not come into context until next time, so we'll put a pin in this. But this is very ominous.
It is, but I also feel like it, like without even reading into it too much further, like we know they're talking about like killing the ones who are actually responsible, because that is like that is the thing that all of the cookbook authors have in common, is that they're it sucks that they have to kill these mobs, but they know who the real fucking villains are, and they know who they have to go after. And that's what that means. You know what I mean? To me, I read that and I think instantly I get it.
Yeah. So this also follows Tiatha talking about, like, surely they'll pull the failsafe this time, and we don't get any explanation. But later, I think in this chapter, in 49, Carl asks Zev, "What's the failsafe?" Cascadia mentioned it once, and someone else just mentioned it. Tiatha. Zev, I don't know what it does. Pray we don't find out. They won't use it, not with so many people trapped in the solar system. We're all under temporary quarantine, and the richest and most powerful people in the galaxy are either on planet or in orbit. You shouldn't have told me that, Zev. I didn't dare say out loud. And that's like the one of the last paragraphs before chapter 49 ends, and then we get Drachia's "If you get the chance, don't hesitate." So there is actually a stronger link than I think I represented here, because I forgot to mention that Zev failsafe chat. Crazy. And then we kind of get a scene about Carl's loneliness, and it expands upon that feeling Carl had in his room of like, wow, this suddenly feels very empty to me, and it bothers me for the first time. Carl is traveling silently on his dad's motorcycle. He's like on the freeways. It's safe though, because it's like late at night, ghost time, so no one's driving around, making it risky for him to be on the motorcycle. And everyone else is partying, but Carl is leaving. He realizes as he's driving with his thoughts that he's been alone for a long time, like thinking back to like his neighbors and how they lived alone, and how he has been kind of alone and isolated throughout his life. He doesn't feel lonely, but he realizes he's been alone, and he dislikes feeling this way. He says, "Goddamn you, Louis," for bringing this out of him, and he's like blaming Louis for him, like, oh, the Christmas thing is like making me realize how alone I've been, and how I haven't, valued these things, and repressed I've been. He doesn't say any of that, but it's sort of the vibe. And then he says to himself out loud, "It's not really Christmas." Fuck. He's resistant to opening up and the catharsis. And then he meets Lightning Lou. he finds this ghost dog left alone at a gas station on Christmas Eve. And he like starts feeling this like anger and compassion for this dog that is left alone with like food and water, but this sign that like by the owners that are like, we're closed, and they just leave their dog behind. And this like kind of upsets Carl, which is just great symbolism of his feelings towards like people who are alone and people that are alone. And it feels really great because it's like, this is a pet, and we know Carl feels strongly about pets, and he has more compassion for pets than people sometimes. And so it's just this great vector into him opening up more to these feelings of like, I've been alone and people don't deserve to be alone. And it's just like this moment of big reflection for him. I love Lightning Lou. Poor puppy.
I do too. I feel so bad that he was just left there like by himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would do
Yeah.
that to a dog on Christmas?
I
That's
know. The dog, it's really, it's even sadder because the dog is kind of like an older dog.
Yeah.
But the dog doesn't seem bothered, and dogs largely, as a dog owner, they can be fine on their own. They can just like go to sleep and not care.
But it's like, if
But it
this
is,
dog
yeah.
has an owner or whatever, like that's you have a pet, that's part of your family. I don't know. It just
I agree. And so this just really, I think, brings to a head the like idea of isolation and loneliness, and it just pulls at our heartstrings. Yeah. So, and this is not the only time we'll see Lightning Lou. But Lightning Lou offers Carl moments of like, I think, great introspection and kind of emotional reflection and catharsis. And this is one of those moments. He then moves on. He gets to the homeless shelter. He finds outside some syndicate standard graffiti, which shocks him. He realizes there is someone here. And he waits for the designated time. He reflects on the one time that he stayed in a homeless shelter the day after his 18th birthday, the day after he became an adult. He remembers the Lysol smell. He during the interview with Rosetta remembered the Lysol smell from the, I think,
the home that he stayed in, the boys' home,
foster home ranch thing, place. Like there was the Lysol smell there. So there's this like, five senses association with like home services and children's services. I think he also had a smell in the interrogation room with the cops. Yeah. So there's just this like theme being carried forward of like a smell being associated with all of that. And here it is. Yeah, like, sterility.
But even over that, it's like you got like the environment might be like as sterile and clean as it can be, but like the people who live there, like there's this shitty burnt coffee smell.
Yeah.
The smell of like BO and like unwashed bodies, like
and they're just all unpleasant.
Yeah.
Carl's always describing them as unpleasant and kind of barren.
They're clashing. It's a clashing of senses.
Right.
Anyway,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel like Matt Dinniman has a lot to say about like service, like social systems and social services of resources for the like people on the margins, especially children. Like we know there's something going on with Lucia Marr and now India and the Kinder facility.
Flaming like the flames that you could see from fucking space.
And now we have like Carl talking about his time at the ranch and this homeless shelter. So it feels like Matt Dinniman has a lot to say about these resource systems and how they're not great, and they are literally like on fire and garbage, and they aren't doing they aren't what those people need entirely. And we get that, I think, more here as Carl remembers the one time he stayed here the day after he became adult. Like, oh, you're a child. Okay, nope. Today you're an adult. Here you go. You're out of the home.
Out. Yeah.
And how that kind of failed Carl a bit. And yet Carl is an example of someone who pulled himself up by his bootstraps and figured it out himself. but that's not everybody's story in these systems.
But it's also
So
not uncommon. But he didn't do it by himself because like he slept on his friend's house, like or like
yes,
at his
Sam,
friend's house, like on his couch, Sam's couch, exactly.
unibrow
And it's
Sam.
just like unibrow Sam. But this is something that he also confronts. Like I don't know if it's in this chapter or in later chapters, like this feeling of isolation, but like it's self isolation because he has
Yes,
removed himself from these situations. But like he didn't get anywhere on his own. Like
yeah,
anywhere on his own, and he realizes that about like his fellow crawlers as well. Like yeah, like yes, largely he was alone for most of this, but at the same time he was helped along the way. He chose to remove himself from from company, from love and life and all of that. This is
right,
a self-imposed isolation.
yeah. Um, Carl prepares to. He sits down to wait for whoever he's supposed to meet or see or interact with in some way. He sits down to wait for them. There's like a page break, and then I was nodded awake by an announcement. This is crazy to me. Carl is always so like has such strong willpower and is so hyper vigilant. The idea of him falling asleep when he's on a mission is nuts to me.
But
Uh,
what else did he have to do though? Like it wouldn't like the
true,
person he wasn't going to be like meeting wouldn't be there until like
true,
however long. So he just like he's like, yep,
but
no time like
uh,
the present.
I am taking this to mean Carl is tired. The weight of everything that has just happened in the last few days,
Oh yeah.
especially, is weighing on him, and especially as he is like that his shell is like he's coming out of his shell, like that's exhausting work, that is emotional work, and he is not at his best. And he doesn't even have the excuse of the distraction from the scavenger's kiss bar because he spent that.
Yeah.
So this is, I don't know, this was remarkable to me. Anyway.
They're always tired, but yeah.
Yeah. uh Zev reaches out, or he like reviews some of his messages from people worried about him. Donut is super drunk, which is really funny. Eggnog is disgust zd blah. I found his hat on the ground. She just out of nowhere. I found his hat on the ground after the party. I have it. He was a jerk, but I kind of like it. Secret Asian man song lyrics. Santa. It's just
Santa.
more
Yeah.
just unhinged comments. And then Mordecai messages and Katya asking and Louis asking where he is. And Zev chimes in, hey, I told everyone you're on a quest. Don't worry about them. I told them you're fine. The AI is insistent we don't interfere with you or the feed. The AI that we were discussing it, and then the AI leaked all of our internal debates about it. So we're this is just more of the AI like I do what I want. Don't try me.
Don't try me.
And then she's like, everything's a mess. This obviously has something to do with residuals, which means it's probably not going to be anything, but it's still curious. And he's like, what's a residual? And she's like, I can't tell you, but you're about to find out. And then he sees the guy that the graffiti indicated he needs to meet or see, someone with a red hat, a 70-year-old with a red hat, an Asian man. This is incredible. So what do I say about this? He sees this kind of man with a cup of coffee. He puts a sugar packet in it. He has a plastic tub full of a bunch of objects, including sugar packets, I'm going to note, including the sugar packet he puts in his coffee. It is time, the man said, speaking loudly. He had a deep, raspy voice. He took a drink of coffee and sighed, making eye contact. Ooh, creepy. Nothing like coffee to wake your ass up. He took another sip and smacked his lips. Hello, crawler, he said. I get goosebumps every time I read this. I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Goosebumps right now, dude. Yeah, exactly. Like all over my arms. Okay,
we're gonna put a pin in nothing like a cup of coffee to wake your ass up. like becoming aware, waking up.
Yes, sir. Oh man.
The double meaning of like coffee literally like, wakes you up.
Obviously, yeah.
But there's a deeper meaning here. He's making
So
eye
good.
contact. Hello, crawler. It's this super creepy, ominous intro. Huge cliffhanger. We get the goosebumps, and this is all I'm going to say about chapter 51. All around him, several of his fellow shelter residents groaned. Not again, someone said. And then Carl realizes this guy's just looking in my direction. He's not actually looking at me. And people are like, as this guy starts a rehearsed speech, everyone is like, shut up, Polly. It's Christmas. Oh my God, I've heard this so many times. I could recite this. And it becomes clear that this guy is just like,
he says the
he's
same
doing
thing over and over
every day at the same time. So there's something here. There's a reason the OIPN got him here to hear this message. Yeah, just the message, right? They just want to hear him say what this guy's saying. Anyway, there's a whole thing. We're going to talk about it next time. I realize it is part of part 2, but it doesn't make sense to talk about until we can talk about it in context with what happens immediately after.
It is important.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I just love that, like, really creepy, ominous. He looks at me. He's hello, crawler. And then cut to like, this guy's just a guy who's standing here reciting a speech and everyone is annoyed by it. It's really funny.
It's perfect.
All these people who have no idea what he's talking about and think he's just a lunatic.
Just a fucking crazy dude. Like, talking about whatever.
Man on drugs, talking about his deep, his deep, what do you call it? Illusion. Anyway, yeah, this is great. I loved this set of chapters. I think it's the shortest, but it's so dense. We finally get Carl's confrontation with his dad and a huge pivot in Carl's emotional state, both in a good way and a bad way. Thanks, Shimaria.
Yeah,
Shimaria. Yeah. Oh my God. So Carl heals or starts healing in some way, but is breaking in others. And it comes at a really bad time because everyone else is falling apart too.
If only he'd started doing it. I think, so my feelings on his emotional stability and the reason why he holds on to this, I think, is because he realizes he uses his anger as a tool.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if he lets go of that anger, what happens to him?
Yeah.
Will he still be as effective?
What if he lets go of that river? I mean, anger. Right.
Like, so it's like, what, who is he? Who does he become? Like, how does he continue the fight if he's not using that anger as like his anchor?
Yes. Yeah. It really gives like, okay, our hero who has been so dependable and so vigilant and so effective is starting to lose his edge.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, we're literally seeing the cracks in his like focus, and there's all these things we can attribute it to. Oh, it's the patch at full charge distracting him because it's doing something to him. Oh, it's the river. Oh, it's Shimaria. Oh, it's his emotional state and trauma healing or coming out and relaxing a bit. He's letting go of some of these behaviors that he's used to survive and that hypervigilance, but letting that go makes him less effective. Or is it all of these things?
It could. I think it's I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
great.
Set of chapters. This was like really, but this was like the build up, right?
Mm-hmm.
From book 1, you're a bully, and nobody likes you, and then like to finally getting that payout.
Yeah.
Of meeting his father in the books. Like it's just chef's kiss.
Yeah. So next time we'll be reading chapters 52 through 72 and the epilogue. So I think that's 22 chapters. And it will be the conclusion of the book. It's really nuts and crazy and incredibly unhinged. I'm very
In
much looking
true
forward to
Matt
it.
Dinniman fashion, it's
Yeah,
all action.
it's all action.
It just like there is no like rising and falling action. It's all rising action.
Yeah,
And it ends on a fucking crescendo.
yeah. It's very reminiscent of the Iron Tangle to me, and how
Yeah, it feels a
that
little bit like that.
floor ends. It's got the same like crescendo of chaotic PvP
Yeah.
and yeah. Anyway, that is part 3, Bedlam. Again, Bedlam meaning like confusion, lunacy, insanity,
Mhm.
madhouse. Yeah, great. Can't wait.
Can't fucking wait.
Cannot wait. So we'll see you next time. If you enjoyed the episode, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about these chapters, and if you agree or disagree, we love the input.
Oh yeah.
And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.